This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today we think I'm going to have on a 36, a 38, 39, and 40-year-olds from Thorold, Elmira, Stratford, and Kincardine, Ontario, Canada. 3 are returning to the shed after episodes 5, 43, and 50 combined for 1,037 plays or goals. The other adds one more NHL game of experience to the shed and is a legend with the shed's favorite team, the Cardiff Devils. Between these 4 gentlemen, we have 5 Cherry Cups, 3 Sutherland Cups, 5 CHA championships, 2 CHA Players of the Year, a senior championship, 2 Italian and 2 Italian Super Cups, 2 Kelly Cups of the East Coast Hockey League, and in the EIHL, the Shed's Honey Hole, 1 Challenge Cup, 2 playoffs, and 2 league titles, and 1 ECHL all-decade team member. Welcome, maybe, to the shed, Sean Bentivoglio, Andrew Lackner, Jeff Van Nynatten, and Barret Ehgoetz. Welcome to the shed, guys.
And 7 corn fests, Bent.
7 what?
7 corn fests, too. Throw them on there.
7 corn fest?
Yeah, 7 corn fests, championships. Never mind. Move along.
Is that slow pitch?
Yeah, Barret knows.
Open or elite? Open or rec?
Stop it.
Never championship sounds like not a big deal, but
hey,
no big deal.
Championship's a championship. I don't care what it is. I guess I'm also a pitcher batter catcher champion 2-time. Lackner, I know you've never won that. Always blame it on your partner. Okay, I get into how we know each other. Lax, you're episode 43, and we grew up together. We taught each other the saucer pass playing road hockey, right?
I think you excelled on that a little more than I did, but yes, you taught me how to saucer pass.
And Taze blasts this thing.
What's this now? Who's this? Nah, it's that you?
Sorry.
100% him.
Yeah.
Let's turn the volume down.
Am I gonna need the editing team out tonight or what?
Nope, I'm fine. Just mute me if I'm not playing good.
Well,
Okay.
Jeff, your video feed is ahead, so if someone scores, let us know, and then Barret and I'll catch up.
Yeah. I don't know why I even have it on.
I know,
You guys
it
must
doesn't
not be
matter.
watching in
Right?
HD. Are you watching it on the fucking rabbit ears or something? You know, you got to get the current HD channels, Andrew.
So what are you
You
guys
gotta pay a little
watching?
extra.
The Leafs against Avalanche or something?
We are.
Yeah,
2 best teams in hockey.
hockey nerds. I don't watch the
It's an
NHL.
entertaining game. It's a lot more entertaining when you win, though. We'll see.
Okay, Nats, how we know each other. You were episode 50, and we hadn't seen each other in 10 years. Now I've seen you a whole bunch of times since then.
Yeah.
Eh?
I know where you live now.
Yeah,
I know what your golf game looks like.
I know what yours looks like too. Long off the tee and then just a mess. Right, Jeff?
He froze. It's probably a good
You
thing.
haven't seen my good stuff yet, that's for sure.
But yeah, so since I guess I started this and I had you on, like we've actually got in contact with a lot of Sugar Kings since then. We had our 20-year anniversary Zoom call too. Hey, that was a pretty fun night.
That's the one you fell asleep at the table, right?
Me or him?
Well,
I got tired.
I went too hard too early too.
It was a classic case of over warming up and getting too excited to see everybody.
Happens.
I got tired, but yes, I did
You had
fall
to
asleep
pause
during.
this row tea.
Yep. So, anyways, I guess Benty, we don't know if he's showing up or not, right? So I guess we have all the Sutherland Cup champions on then.
Uh-oh.
We do.
I feel like Jeff Van Nynatten is not very into it this time. Last time I couldn't get him to shut up, and now this time he's just watching a hockey game.
You know, he's always had an attention issue.
We might have to turn the TV off.
Oh, I was gonna go right now.
Ehgoetz,
Please
so
start getting out of regulation.
oh, shut up, Nat.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Carry on with your show.
Yeah, okay. Ehgoetz, you were episode 5. You were early on, eh?
I was.
And I live in Kincardine. I guess that's how we know each other. And I guess Nats, when you came on as episode 50, I know you said all you cared about was beating Barret Ehgoetz and having more
do
listens
it.
than him, right?
That's always where I set my bar, is beating Barret Ehgoetz, but again, came up short. I think maybe a couple hundred views. I'm proud of those views though. 399 views. I'm proud of every one of them.
Why are you being so negative? I was going to give you an update because this stuff changes every day, Jeff. And
Sure.
maybe if you play well today, maybe people check out episode 50, where there's too many F-bombs, we got carried away. I should have shut it down earlier.
Brent, I think he's shook because the Leafs were winning 4-1, and the 3-goal lead is the worst lead in hockey, and it's shone through the hockey gods. It's 4-4 now. Am I right, Jeff?
They haven't blown a second period lead yet this year. They flashed at 18-0, leading after 2. Kiss to death. That reporter statistician should be fired.
Well, Nats, if you want your update, Ehgoetz is at 388. You're at 383. She's pretty close.
Does it count when he just he's driving the tractor and just continues to play it over and over to himself?
It's probably Marg. Probably Marg telling everybody.
Just got it on repeat in the pickup truck.
Got a weekly class so they listen to it.
Oh gosh.
What's
Okay.
going on here?
Ehgoetz.
Oh, we're going to the PK.
Ehgoetz, where and what are you doing now?
I'm in Chicago, western suburbs.
How is he
And
that
I'm-
into a Maple Leafs game? Why would he care so much?
I don't know. There's
Because
only
we
40
can't
there's
do
only
anything here,
45 of
Brent.
them. There's like 45 of them left. Like, I watch the Leafs too, but
I just come to the shed, talk to people about hockey. I don't really watch it anymore. Okay. So you're in Chicago and you got the Leafs game on too then, eh?
yeah, I mean, just got the kids to bed, stay at home dad, western suburbs. That's
So
about
not
it.
much has changed since episode 5 then, eh?
Oh, since when was that? March or April?
Probably February.
Yeah.
I started this the
Yeah.
end of January.
Let's see what has changed since then. Not a whole lot. I don't know. I got 3 kids playing hockey. Had the first game of the second half today, and got another game tomorrow.
Oh, that's
Staying
fun.
busy.
My team's on
Yeah.
we're on a pause around here. We don't get to play hockey or go to school. So but my team's got a Zoom practice tomorrow, so that's cool. Shout out to Chris Menard. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in school and everything. Like, I don't know. Like, kids are testing positive like crazy. They just continue on.
Right. That's what I'd like to do. But anyways, not talking about that. Okay. Andrew, where and what are you doing now?
Pretty much the same thing. Still police constable with Waterloo Regional Police. Other than that, nothing. I
Nothing's
think
new.
our oldest is in hockey, but that's on pause again. But it's
Yeah.
fun to see her learning every week from, first session to
So you've been
10 or
teaching her the
12 is
glassing out?
unreal. So
You teaching her glassing out, or what are you teaching her?
no, I think she's going to be a goal scorer. We're going to push her for that. So
And that's last time you were on the show, you were in the barn or shop, eh? Now you're in the house.
Yeah, my heater broke this week,
Oh dear. I got
so it's
two
freezing.
heaters
It's
on
under
tonight.
0 degrees out there. It's unusable.
Yeah, I got 2 heaters on the go right now. I'm not going in. Non-negotiable. So I guess this was a Purple Eagle reunion night, and Benty was going to be here, but you know what? This is a Sugar King reunion too. And we all won the Sutherland Cup together, didn't we? So why don't we talk about that playoff drive, eh, Ehgoetz?
Hey, yeah, let's talk about it.
I don't know where to start. How did you guys all end up at Niagara? Ehgoetz, you went first there, so then they saw you did well, and then they took these other 2 punks, or what?
Yeah, they must have thought there was some other talent in Elmira.
Hmm.
I don't know. Either that or I was there and no one else wanted to come, so they had to go back. Because Millsy came there too. That might be oh no.
Are you spilling beer?
It just exploded as I opened it. This happened the other night too. They're old.
Frozen?
No, they're not frozen. I don't know.
Do old beers explode?
I don't know, but it's just been sitting in my fridge for the last. I put them in there 2 days ago, but they're in. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Sounds like they're a bit frozen, eh, Nats? I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
They're not.
Oh man. Okay, Nats, why don't you talk about it? I know it means a lot to you because we rambled on about winning it for like 3.5 hours our first episode, right? Is he frozen again?
Yeah, I remember. Remember getting cut off trying to go game by game, but there's 30 seconds left in the Leafs here, but
Okay.
well,
Yeah, Nats. You know what then? We'll wait.
get deep into
We'll
that.
just save it for when you're done watching the game, okay?
Yeah.
You come
When I can
back.
focus.
Come back to the shed when the Leafs are done playing, okay? Lackner, you scored the game-winning goal, though, eh? To win the Sutherland Cup.
I did. And contrary to what you said in the thing, there's no way you were open back door.
I was open.
John
back
Scott
door.
was inside your shirt.
No, I was wide open back door, and you shot it right at the goal, and he let it in.
It went right through his legs.
That goalie was pretty overrated. Wasn't he supposed to be really good? And
I don't even know who it was.
True. Hang tight for a minute.
So anyways, I guess you get that cleaned up yet or what?
yeah, it's good. Good. Just got the new countertops on down here this week. So gotta
Beautiful.
keep it clean.
Okay, well that's good because Nats is in the middle of the hockey game and Lackner's
got a
gone.
point.
Oh,
We got a point. They're going to OT.
We got a point. You really are into this, eh? Like you feel like you're part of this.
Are you not a Leaf guy?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think he is. I don't ever remember him. Not a.
I remember watching a lot
right?
of Leaf games in your basement.
No, I was always a Leaf guy, and then when I
You just hide it now? You're ashamed of it?
no, after my senior year, I was at the cottage here in Kincardine, and then they said, why don't you come to Toronto? Because we want to sign you. And then I went there and had interviews and like did fitness tests and had
That was the end. That was it.
and then everybody said it went great. And then they never did sign me. And I left there that day thinking I was signing with the Maple
You should have
Leafs.
never agreed to go work out. You should have said, just give me a
Yeah.
puck.
You know
Yeah,
what,
I'll
Jeff?
shoot.
I was
You should have
We're
fired
not
your
working
agent right
out.
there.
I was on Black Horse Golf Course when I got the call from my agent that I was signing with the Maple Leafs, and myself and Jamie Sawatsky sat on the 16th tee off for the next 3 hours and never moved and had a fantastic day. And then it never happened. So I haven't really been that big of a fan ever since that.
Yeah, that hurts, eh?
Well, I got over it.
Did you
there
get to
for a
play
bit,
in the
but-
A, Barret, there?
What?
Did you play in the A in Toronto?
No.
Oh.
Solid question, Dad.
Sorry.
I did though once, a couple times, I think. Got like a shift or two. Good times. Okay. I don't know what to talk about now because Benty didn't even show up. Like, what do you think? Do you think he's sleeping?
Should have just been a Benty interview. I mean, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know. I think I said everything I had to say the first time.
Really?
And now I have 3 people to interrupt me instead of 1. It's just going to take.
Hey, so
longer.
so I went to the Niagara game last Sunday.
I was going to ask you about that. That's on the notes. You had to do a pregame speech or what?
Yeah. That was not great. so we had some family in town on the Saturday when my wife's cousins and something, so we couldn't go to the Saturday night game. So they won the Saturday game, right? 3-1. And then Sunday we go take the kids, go down, meet the team before. He's like, oh, come down, talk to the team before. And like, you know, I'm this 40-year-old bald guy. Like, you know, I'm not like going in there firing everybody up or anything. So
You couldn't
Whatever,
get
I
naked
never-
and run around and spray paint yourself? Nothing like that?
yeah. So I never even met that coach. That's the first time I met him. I haven't been to a game and that's his 5th year there. That's his 5th year there.
Oh, the
So I haven't
coach.
been. Yeah.
Oh,
so I
yeah.
haven't
That's your
been to
first time meeting him.
I think the last game I was at was when I got inducted into the Niagara Hall of Fame. So that was before I had kids. So they were born in 2014. So it must have been 2013. And
Jesus.
then, yes, well, it's been
And
a
you
while.
went to Niagara for this, or was this a road game?
No, it was at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's only an hour and a
Oh,
half
okay.
drive from here.
Oh, and that's not that
So it's
far from you?
Hour and a half. That's about as close as they get to here. So
And they upset them, didn't they? No.
on the Saturday night, I was there on the Sunday though. They lost 5-0.
They did beat them on the Saturday?
So you went in
Yes.
for a pregame speech and you were really boring, and then they went out and laid an egg and lost 5-0.
I don't know. I don't know if I was boring. I probably was.
What'd you say to them?
I don't even
These
know.
are
It's just
going to
a
be
blur.
the best 4 years of your life. Cherish
didn't say
every
that.
moment.
Lackner,
Huh?
Leafs lose.
Focus, Jeff. Focus.
In the
So,
15 seconds here.
No,
Ooh,
they're gonna
4-1
win.
lead.
Holy moly. We should have just
Oh.
started this after. You guys are all watching it. You guys are a
So-
mess.
So you're
Oh.
what's the trainer's name? What do you call the trainer there? Scotty?
That's it. I quit.
see you next. Ehgoetz, go ahead. I don't know what's going on.
What do you call
this
what's the
tonight.
trainer?
You
What do you
know,
call
it
him,
was
Scotty?
easier to do this with 2 9-year-olds and a 10-year-old this week. It was way easier, more controlled. Jeez, you
But you got
guys
outside
can't even
factors that
focus.
you
Look at you
couldn't-
guys. How are we gonna get in
I'm
the
watching. The
pocket
game's
tonight?
over. The
How are we
game's
gonna get it?
over.
How are we gonna get in the pocket tonight with you guys acting like this?
Would
I'm
you
ready to
like
go.
me? I'm not watching anymore. I saw it.
I like that clock at the Van Natten household. Leah's got some nice taste.
This is just like if he'd lose at ping pong, he'd get mad and storm off, right?
That's true. Not
He
much has
probably
changed.
went out to his cold shed to swear.
I remember at my parents' house, he'd lose at ping pong and then he'd drive to Jimmy right across their lawn and like rip up the yard because he'd be so mad he lost at ping pong. Now he
Jimmy.
leaves the shed because the Leafs lose. Guy's very unpredictable. Hey, Ehgoetz, remember when he threw the net off and then quit the game?
Just skated off middle of the game, middle of the second period. Wasn't even near the end of the game. Middle of the
But
second
that
period.
was
playoff.
wasn't that when Boston College or Boston University was there to watch him?
Yeah.
Didn't we have like wasn't it like
Dan Regula was the
the
backup.
Like
Sugar Dan.
Yeah, and that's when in the room, and then Petrie had to go tackle him. Hey Jeff, you're
Hey.
back.
Hey,
Pepperoni.
Gauthier. I'm surprised Petrie hasn't got you out on the Irish yet.
He asked me to be involved in some capacity, but then I told him, like, we're fighting for the same players here. Like, the guys that are on your team, I want them on my rec team. This is never going to work. So
What are you talking about? What's Petrie coaching?
he's got a senior A
Petrie,
team
man.
in Stafford now, the Irish. They play right before us on Saturday nights. So if you have a big game, chances are he's in the house.
What
They
league are
don't,
they in? They're not in the
They
league with like
they just
Ripley.
made up a league. Wally, they made up a
Yeah,
league. You
just an outlaw senior league, but it's pretty good hockey, and they're on a tear lately. They lost the first few, but I think they've won 5 or 10 in a row now, and they're just killing
so
teams. So
is it better than the WAA league or not?
it's probably the same shit. I think it's
Okay.
it's guys under 25 who are in good shape and can rip the puck, like pretty much. That's what I see.
I hadn't seen
Especially
Jamie
a lot of
Petrie.
these guys didn't get to play
Your
all last
internet's
year or
brutal.
something. So the time's kind of like good, I think. But is it? Sorry, you said that last time too. I know our goalie, a good goalie that I know went out for like practice. He think it wouldn't be that bad. He said it was a snipe show. He just got lit up, and he couldn't stop.
Who?
Him. So I think who went out?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You don't know,
Good goalie, I know.
but he's a good goalie. Not me. Fuck no. I don't have equipment anymore.
Oh,
I was gonna say, there's no way
Really?
you put the pads on anymore.
I hadn't seen Petrie since the Sure Kings, and then I was playing senior A for Ripley, and he was sitting behind the net in Durham, Ontario, and we gave each
Oh,
other
yeah.
a wink.
I kind of knew that last game in Tulsa where you dressed as my defense partner. That was the last time Jeff was going in the crease. Like I kind of had a feeling, and I was right.
Do you play rec league, Andy?
I play for the Florida Flyers. Yes.
Oh yeah. You guys win the Elmira League every year?
No, we're pretty like we get close. We won 2 years ago, but then lost in the finals, and then we're
And
gonna.
it's a
play in the
bunch of
finals.
former Sugar Kings, right? You got Rodney Bodman, don't you? Or Ken Dunn. You got a bunch of players, eh? And you guys, what? Can't beat the kids or what?
We're pretty old,
Okay,
Brent.
yeah.
Like there's no hitting in the league anymore, but one thing leads
Younger
to
is
another
better.
at times. And
Like you say, there's no hitting. Like that's a bad thing.
Yeah, like you
Like
wanna
you wouldn't hit anybody if there was. That's not
You just
rec
get
league.
murdered.
There's
you
no
just get
hitting
murdered
in
every
rec
night.
league. There's no hitting.
Fucking admiring your pass and getting fucking.
I play in a league. I play in an outdoor league.
Goalie's
here
not
in the
telling you
winter.
that forwards are barreling down and then they snicker like schoolgirls when you're laying, picking your teeth off.
In Elmira, though, you don't call it rec league, you call it church league, right?
That's right.
And the rule used to be in that league is that you could only hit, isn't it like below the goal lines or something? Like,
You couldn't
I
hit
think so.
behind the goal line, I think.
Oh, you
Like-
couldn't hit behind the goal line,
Right.
what would that do?
so you couldn't
Well, so
run
you
a guy
couldn't
in
run
man
people
board.
through the boards.
Lackner would still be playing if that was a rule in hockey.
Yeah.
Ehgoetz, you help coach your kids at all in their hockey or no?
Yeah.
How old are they
Yeah.
again?
So
Is there any rec league in Chicago?
yeah, so I do coach them. Yeah. Well, yeah, I help out. I'm on the ice all the time, and then yeah, I'm on the bench when the games, and then my girls they're twins. They're 7, and then my son is 5. They'll play in the same team this year though,
Okay.
so they'll be split up next year. But yeah, it's fun.
And do you play rec in Chicago?
So I do. Well, I do. I started actually playing pretty much right after we moved here. We've lived here like 3.5 years now. And a guy at my wife's work got me out like a month after we moved here and played in like a really brutal league. So I just kind of like tore that up, and like they loved having me because it'd be like 5-6 goals a game if I wanted or whatever. Like I'm like no looking, like setting guys up, like backdoor tap ins. Like it was kind of like that Kovalchuk. You see that Kovalchuk video? That's kind of what it was like. And
When he's
then,
playing against kids?
yeah. so then, but no, I think the league actually got better. I probably got worse, but I think the league got better too. And then actually a guy I met through that got me on this other team, and it's a decent league. But it's on an outdoor rink, like a real rink, like a good rink though. But it's just like mid-November to February, like maybe early March, end of February, early March.
So what do you play?
So there's some
Once a
good players
week?
out there.
You're once a week?
Sunday nights, yeah. The other league was just.
What if the
some of
weather's shit?
If it's real bad, they'll cancel. But like we played when it's been real cold, like kind of like a lot of snow, like you just battle through. The best part
Really?
about it, it's only two periods, 2 like 22-minute straight time periods.
It's
Which is the best
outdoor.
part.
So are you saying it's
Full size?
like how are they keeping the ice? When did you say it starts?
They have a compressor.
They do have a compressor.
Mid-November. Yeah,
Okay.
they have a compressor. It's a regular rink, just it's outside.
Sounds like you're playing in Germany.
Yeah, it's fun. It's cool. You got the train going by every once in a while.
Would be cool.
I haven't skated once this year for myself, just coached. No interest either, actually. Lackner, so you're the Florida Flyers. What place are you in this year?
We haven't played. We've just scrimmaged within us. Like they won't start
You
a
haven't had a
league
game
even
all
before
year?
we shut down.
So you don't play.
Sounds
What?
like sounds like a fun league.
You guys
Why don't
just
you
have
play-
practices only?
What's that?
You have practices only and you're grown men?
No. We just scrimmage between.
Just work
I
on
don't know.
PP?
They just wouldn't launch a league. There wasn't enough people,
Wow.
but
Why don't you play in an old timers team?
I came to Moncton.
Old timers teams aren't really a thing in Elmira. They just have church league, man.
I could play for the Polar Kings, but
Why don't you guys just make your church league team an old timers team? You can play whenever you want.
I don't know. I'll ask the guys, Barret. Don't yell at me. I'm distracted. He says, I'll get on that, Barret. I'll put that on my things to do.
I knew there was a reason I moved away from that town.
Oh God. So hey, Ehgoetz, what did you say to the kids? I guarantee you said these are going to be the best 4 years of your life.
No,
and
I
you
didn't.
got to
No,
cherish
no.
every. No, what'd you say?
It was short, brief, but kind of like they won the night
Mhm.
before, right? So kind of, but like they've won a few games, but they're not very consistent, right? Like they'll win Friday night, they always lose Saturday night or whatever. They can't really put a streak together. So just kind of push consistency and that's what they got to do to get to the next level. Is it's great to win a game like that, but they got to
Not
do it the
likely
next
to
night
happen
too. So.
again.
And then they lost 5-0, right?
They lost 5-0. Hey, you know what? I was sitting there. I'm like, well, about the first 12 minutes of the game, I'm like, they're flying. They look great. And they took a penalty, and then it was just kind of downhill from there. And they got scored on with like maybe 5 seconds left. I don't know. Right near the end of the first period, they got scored on, making 1-0, and that really hurt. And then they came out of the second period and just kind of got dominated. But I mean, it's tough. I mean,
they're not like the Western Michigan Broncos this year. Like we're like
Yeah,
third
they're
in the
good.
nation right now.
yeah.
They're good. I
Yeah.
think they
I
split
just
this
saw them
weekend
with
with Sacred
Michigan
Heart too.
refused to play them. Wally.
What's that?
Michigan Wolverines refused to play Western Michigan because
Yeah,
Yes.
no,
That
it's
was when I was there. We were
Yeah.
talking about it.
no, it's actually crazy. So
yeah, they played Friday against Tech and then refused to play Saturday.
they
did
said
see that. I
it-
couldn't
it-
believe it.
They said it wasn't COVID related, but
No.
they were missing guys for the
We're
World
out.
Juniors or whatever, but they just couldn't do it. They couldn't play 2 games that weekend. So it is crazy because we were really scared of the University of Michigan when I played there, but we played them every time and we
Rightfully
took a
so.
licking. We took a licking every time, but we at least showed up for the games. Now the Wolverines won't even show up for the games. That's pretty impressive. Good work, Coach Ferschweiler. Way to go.
Yeah.
Love to
Well,
see
you know
it.
what? Though Michigan's still good, they'll still be there. But what's Western up to? Top 5 now or top
I
3?
think they're 3. Last time I looked, I think they're 3.
Yeah, and
That's great.
episode 98.5 was at what I don't know if he still is. I don't really keep track, but he was the NCAA's leading goal scorer, Ethan Frank. Check out that episode.
Well, he was the one that tweeted about it. He's like, yeah, how can
they're
you play
scared.
Tech on Friday night and then not against us? Like, what's going
How did
on?
I don't understand how they can justify that. And even like to your players, like for me, I couldn't imagine being the coach and explaining to my players that like I don't think you guys can beat them, so we're just not going to play them.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before.
No.
It seemed pretty outrageous to see.
I guess if it's not a conference game, those games, don't really.
But like, aren't they both
Matter,
ranked
but-
high enough that they're gonna make the tournament regardless? Isn't that how it works?
Yeah.
It's early, but yeah, pretty much.
You get a new headset, Wally?
Yeah, the IT team set me up this week or a couple weeks ago.
Super heat all over that, right?
Yeah, that's the IT team. Yeah. They told me if I break another pair, they're getting me kitty cat ones.
Barnesy, you gotta get him good with Barnesy. He'll take care of you.
Oh, they take
He
care
runs
of me.
that. Barnesy runs that company, doesn't
He's in charge of the IT team. Yep.
he? Yeah.
But yeah, no, you'd know a lot of the same people I do nowadays, Barret.
Yep.
But yeah, no, that's my IT team, and no, I'm very thankful for everything Superheat's done for me since I.
Hey, the next time I come on, can we do a Concardant Bulldogs, little reunion? Me, Kent, we'll get a couple other guys on from the Western Junior C League Championship season.
Did you guys win it with the Bulldogs?
We won our league, and then we won 2 more rounds after that, and then we lost in the finals against Glanbrook.
Well, I took my kids or my team to a game the start of the season, which we haven't been back, which is disappointing, but it was a really fun experience. Like for the town, there's a lot of kids around. Like I brought the team there, and like they were sitting with girls and everything during the game. It was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. So we didn't have a junior C team when I was a kid in town, right? And
So it
Kenny
started when
that-
you were there.
Doug Kenny started that team. I think I would have been maybe 8th grade. It was an expansion team. And then I would have played in so the first year they were real bad. It was just, they were dead last in the league, and it was great. Like, sold out every night, fights. It was the greatest hockey show I've ever seen. And then the next season they were decent. Like, I think won a playoff round. And then the next year, they won the league. They had actually a bunch of like Alkenbrack played on the team that year. Mike Colling played on the team that year. Rob Grant, he's from Port Algon or Southampton up that way. He's Fish's buddy. Had a really good team. And then did I play? I didn't play the next year. No, I don't know. Anyways, the year I played was only the 4th or 5th year, right? And they had won the league, I think, the year before for the first time. Then we won the league, and like, we ran away with it. We only lost a few games during the season, and I think we lost one game to Hanover in the league final. We beat them 5 games. But I was like, we had an old team. I was 16. I was the only 16-year-old. Ken would have been like the next youngest guy in the team, and I think he played the year before.
Kent Little, like my neighbor that lives right here.
Yeah.
The guy that finished the shed. He did all the woodwork around here, folks. Yeah,
Ooh,
he finished it for me with a couple other neighbors. All they got in return was a case of beer and a steak pie.
Yeah, you should get him on. He's good. So Kent, it's funny because Kent was the same size he is now when he was like 12.
I heard he had a mustache when he was 12.
He had a mustache. We used to play baseball against Ripley in like Mosquito or Pee Wee, and like he had a mustache standing at first base. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I heard about the mustache from numerous people, that he had a mustache at a very, very young age. And that's things people don't forget, right?
It was a really heavy, like, peach fuzz. He's got the dark hair, right?
I do know that the Bulldogs, like, it's a pretty solid organization for only junior C. People may not really know what junior C is, but like, they have a volleyball tournament, man. That volleyball tournament in town, they fill the arena with sand every year in May, back before all this. Yes, but they must have made so much money. What a tournament that volleyball is here in Kincardine.
That's been going on since I played.
Oh, they must bring in a lot of money. There's like hundreds of teams, and everybody in town is in it, and everybody is in and out drinking. And there's the beer gardens at center ice. My goodness, is it fun?
It is good. I'm surprised other places don't do that. I'm surprised other people haven't got on.
Jeff, what's up, bud? You okay over there?
Nothing.
You okay?
Just watching Twister.
Twister. Oh gosh. Anyways, okay, yeah. So the Bulldogs are cool. I've only been to one game. I've never really been involved with it since I've lived here.
Todd Norman, Reed Norman's brother, is the coach.
Yeah, he's my neighbor. He lives right around the corner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He could be
He's a good hockey player.
Oh yeah, he's just like everybody that comes in the shed. Just similar career, right? Now he's a teacher at Ripley School where my kid goes. He was the gym teacher.
I don't know him. The only time I ever met him, the year before I came to Elmira, I was in training camp at Listowel, and we had fitness testing there. We went over to the high school and did we're run around the track, and he would be he's a few years older than me, right?
Yeah.
Well, Reed's a year older than me, and he's older. He's 3 or 4 years older than that, I bet. I don't know. And I remember we had to run laps of this track over the high school, and it was and then all of a sudden, like, this guy, like, he was huge, he was jacked, and like he's just going a million miles an hour, like, just blowing past everybody, lapping everybody.
I remember him from a kid because he played for the Guelph Storm with Jamie Wright, Jeff O'Neill, Todd Bertuzzi, that team.
He's probably on Guelph then, maybe, when I was there.
That's when I always watched. I watched the Guelph Storm and the Kitchener Rangers. Both teams had great players when I was a kid.
Guelph was awesome back then. Like, didn't they have Clucci and that?
Dan Cluche was the goalie. Yep.
Roman Endure.
Yeah, they were awesome.
I don't know if I'd call him a good hockey player.
Wow, he did his job.
Yeah, I don't remember them. They didn't go to the Memorial Cup, but they were a great team, right? So I guess Benty's not coming. Sure doesn't look like it. So my notes are a mess. Opening
better off
doesn't make
without him.
sense either. What?
We're better off without him.
I bet you fell asleep with the kids or something, eh? He's gonna come up with some excuse tomorrow. What a joke.
You know, I went actually. I think the last time I saw him was in Italy.
You saw him in Italy?
So the year after my first year done playing, my wife and I, we took a trip over to Italy over kind of New Year's. We left right after Christmas, flew into Venice and spent a few days there. And then Matt McDonald, I don't know if any of you guys would know him. He's from Niagara Falls, Ontario originally, went to play at St. Lawrence. And then I played in Cincinnati with him for a few years. And he married a girl from Cincinnati. So he was playing over in Asiago, which is not far from Venice, really. And so it's kind of funny. So who else? He was on that team. So we were right there. So we were like, whatever. We went and stayed a couple nights with them. They played on the first night we got there. And then the next night was New Year's Eve. So we hung out with them for New Year's Eve. So, but he was
What's
there.
that? That's like a decade ago, probably.
Yeah. I would have been 2012 New Year. So,
that's a decade.
But Benty was there. And then another guy played in Cincinnati, Dave Borelli. I don't know if he would have played again. He played for Mercyhurst, but
I've heard the name.
I guess he was in Italy the whole time. And then who else is there? There's somebody else there I played with.
Lane Ulmer?
No, he was on that team though, I believe. Who else is on that team? There's a guy from Kitchener, I think was on that team. I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, probably.
What's that? You know who the guy I'm talking about. I just can't think of his name. Anyways, we had a good time.
Yeah, that was one of my questions was when did you guys see each other last? So when did you see Lackner last?
Probably my wedding.
When was
maybe
that?
10. Well, yeah. Oh no, maybe. I don't know if I've been to a Niagara alumni thing since then.
I was gonna ask. We've lost all our other guests, eh? We're just
probably that same year. I think I was at the alumni thing that same year.
Lackner, when did you see Ehgoetz last?
My wedding or your wedding? Your wedding.
Was it ours or yours?
I saw you there, Ehgoetz. I was there. I was at Lackner's.
I got married in 2010, so.
Okay, so it would have been ours then, yeah.
That's the last time you guys saw each other?
That was just the next. You got married in 2011, probably, right?
Yeah.
Jeff, when was the last time you saw Barret?
Maybe 1 year.
Probably a Niagara alumni thing around that time.
Yeah.
So you guys have gone to alumni events for Niagara? I've never been to a Western Michigan one.
10 years ago. Dutchy goes all the time.
We've had a few good ones the last few years, but none since COVID. So
what are they? Golf tournaments?
Do a golf thing in the spring and a game in the fall is kind of what we were on for. Might have got 2 or 3 of them off.
He told me last weekend the golf tourney's on this summer.
Yeah, should be. I think the borders should be fine by the spring at least, if not earlier.
You would hope.
You guys can't cross the border right now?
You can.
I think we can actually right now.
No, you can. I just did it with
my parents drove. Yeah. My parents drove down here a few weeks ago. It's the first time I saw them.
Shortening the quarantine.
Quarantine. Yeah.
I don't really want it that bad. I've done real good, I think, not to have it yet. I don't want it. It seems like a game. I don't want to get it.
You might have had it. You might have had it. You don't even know. You're just posting some pics online of booster shots. That's all you're busy doing.
Yeah,
doing your part, Jeff.
Number 4.
I got my booster on Monday.
Did you? Get it?
No, I'm getting it this Monday. Your arm's probably still sore.
You guys, why are we talking about all this?
It feels like a good punch. Feels like a.
So hey, when I come up to Stratford to finally see where my parents moved to, maybe this summer, I bring the kids out to do some chores on the farm or what?
Sure, yeah. We'll just drink.
What do you got out there? Pigs, chickens?
One of you pick up dead pigs, one of you pick up dead chickens, meet back at the barbecue. 45 minutes. Bring everything.
Isn't it a small?
Where your parents-
It's a small world because you're talking about your parents have moved close to Van Nynatten, and then I'm thinking about
Did they?
your house in Kincardine. Like I know who bought the house from your parents, right? It's
Josh Goche.
yeah, Goater. Yeah, it's a
Jeff
small.
grew up on a farm, like what, miles from where my dad grew up.
Wartburg, right?
Mhm.
Inside the shop. You know where that shop is at the main corner?
In Wartburg?
Main corner of Wartburg.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the
North
Ehgoetz,
Rostock.
I know the Ehgoetz farm there. Just beside that big shed, right? Just to the north.
Yep.
So where are your parents now? By the golf course, I think you said, or no? Bradford Golf
So they bought, there's like a 5-story condo building at the corner of Romeo and
Vivian?
maybe
Romeo
somewhere north of the
becomes
golf
Vivian.
course there.
Yeah, I know where it is. Yeah, there's big development out there.
So they've been there, I think, it's before COVID. So 2.5 years probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, it is a small world how it all works though, eh? Like that your parents were right around the corner from me and now they're right around the corner from Nats. It's just
Yes. Don't you have some questions prepared here, Wally? Like
yeah, I
we'll save
did.
that
And then one
notebook.
of the guys never showed up. One of the guys never showed up.
What
Changed
what
everything.
were we supposed to do when you were asking all the questions? Just sit here and smile? Or?
It was just Quest asking him.
What? They're
Hey.
all related. Okay.
You
Here
guys
we
know
go.
that when
What-
Sean Bentivolio first went to college, so he's from Thorold, right? So I was a junior. He's 2 years behind me. He lived at home. Did you know this?
No. What? He lived in
Okay.
Thorold and went to school in Niagara?
Yeah, like a
He lived
fast
at-
pass, right?
No. When he lived at home, yes. But when he first started, he was a true freshman, right? Which is rare for Niagara, right? Like hardly anybody ever comes as a true freshman. So he was, and I don't know when his birthday is, but you know how Ontario has the graduate licensing G1, G2, they still have that?
Yeah.
Okay, so he only had his G1 license, so he couldn't even drive to school when the school year started. So he used to have to get his dad. His dad used to have to drive him to. We had a
Across
couple
the-
other guys that lived. No, there's a couple other guys because Ryan Gale lived at
Gale
home,
did.
and Casey
Handerham.
Handerham. But Casey
Yeah.
might have lived over by then.
Right.
So he'd have to drive him to like either over to school or to like meet Ryan Gale, who's coming from St. Catharines, because he couldn't drive, didn't have a driver's license yet, and he lived at home.
He crossed the border like every day.
Yeah.
Yes. I think just for the 1 year. I think the next year he moved in with at the Red Baron with those guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
Can you
begged
imagine that?
begged him not to.
I can't imagine living at home in university, and I can't imagine crossing the border every day.
Yeah. Well, he did it
Okay.
with his dad driving him.
Real world, Brent. This is Niagara hockey.
Okay. Well, here's the question I got prepared on my notes. Okay. The pictures of Betty and you painted, and he's the big O.
Okay, so that night was it was like a Monday night. So our basketball team, our men's basketball team, was playing the conference championship game. So if they won, they go to the NCAA tournament, right? And it was in Buffalo at the Sabres rink there, whatever they used to, HSBC or whatever they used to call it. So and that was the week. I mean, it all kind of is around the same time as our conference tournament. I think our conference tournament was later that week. We were leaving, right?
I think so.
So anyways, we got tickets, and somebody went to like to the student center, got tickets, a whole block for all of us to go. So we're right behind the basket. We knew we were sitting right behind the basket, and we knew the game was on ESPN. So a few guys and I guess hold on, let me preface this with it started the year before. So the year before, the last game of the season, so Niagara Canisius are big rivals, right? That's the two big rivals. And it's not, I guess it kind of wasn't hockey, but we were in different conferences when we were there. So it wasn't, we'd always play them, but it just wasn't the same as the other sports, right? But basketball, they're big rivals. So the last game of the season is senior night, and Niagara's got like it's the Gallagher Center's not a big basketball place. Like probably Bubs, like 2,000, 2,500 people in there, maybe
Something like that. 3,000 max.
So I don't know. So by this, our season was over that year for this, I think. I don't know if it was or not. Anyways, we're having some beers, and this is an afternoon game. So I don't know who got the idea. We're gonna get painted up.
You're
right?
gonna get fully committed to going to a basketball game.
And this is the year before first. So yeah, to go to an on-campus like senior night basketball game, I don't know. But anyways, we got paid. We took like pots and pans, obviously like had a few beers before we went, and that place was jammed. Like you couldn't fit another person in there. So we're in like the student section, and like we are just screaming at each other, like we're just out of control. The whole place is like, and I think the guys that were there that were into it were like the ringleaders of it, right? Getting everybody going and like just laying into these poor kids. So
laying into these
time.
poor kids, like you guys were just screaming at the players or what?
You're right there by the court, so like you're screaming in their ear, right? Screaming in their face as they're trying to inbound the ball. Like it's a small place, right? Like we're not 20 rows up here. Like there's only about 10 rows in the whole building.
Was Benty out of shape in that picture?
Yeah, he was always a little bit pudgy. But so anyway, so the next year comes around and they're in this conference championship game. It's going on ESPN Monday night in Buffalo. And they're like, it's a big place, right? They're handing out tickets. So someone gets all these tickets right behind the basket for us. And we're leaving in like 2 days for like our conference tournament. So we're not even like drinking or anything, right? I wasn't. I don't think any guys were. And like, we're over at Jeff's place in the basement. Some guys are like getting painted up. Like, oh, we're sitting right behind the basket. We'll do like spell out like whatever, go NU, right? Or whatever. Then like more guys show up. They're like, okay, let's do this. And then we get enough guys. Like, I think by the end, like you had to win enough guys. It's still like go NU Purple Eagles on ESPN or something. Like everybody almost on the team had a letter. So we load up in cars. We drive.
You guys were sober?
It's probably a 30-minute drive down there, right, Bubs? Right? From school?
Yeah.
So we get down there and get in there. And so same thing, like we're going crazy behind the basket. Niagara end up winning. So we're charging the court, like just usually see on TV, except about a tenth of the number of people. And they win or whatever. So sure enough, like we had a fun time. It was actually maybe the most fun I've ever had, not drinking. So we have a fun time. They win, whatever. The next day, go to practice. In the Buffalo News, on the front page, not like the front of the sports section, like on the actual front page of the Buffalo News, is that picture that Jeff sent you. On the front page, the very first. That's the headline for that day. Slow news day. And like here our coaches like at the newspaper, we go to practice like. Here's like our whole hockey team
full
on the front page of the Buffalo News.
What kind of paint did you guys use? I'm curious because I've spray painted myself quite a few times.
So
what paint were you using?
It wasn't spray paint. It was like we just went to Walmart and got like just like the
acrylic paint,
water-based paint or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So
it comes off in the shower. It comes off pretty easy. You just hop in the shower. It's a mess, but you hop in the shower. It comes off.
I should have used that then when I was doing it.
I think we all just went to the dorms and shower, so you don't have to clean it up anywhere else.
Yeah. Wow. This was all going to be part of the notes if Benty came on with Cardiff and everything. But when I went over for my night in Cardiff, they never told me whether or not I was doing a pregame speech. So then when they finally did say I was doing it, it was like the day of. So I told the guy, I'm like, I need red paint. And the only paint there was like the paint that like you would paint the red line with. Like the legit real paint, and that's what he sprayed on me, and we had to get like rubbing alcohol and like all sorts of stuff.
That probably was.
Gonna say that stuff's made not to come off.
I was gonna say
it really didn't. Yeah, well, it did on the bed sheets in the hotel. Yeah, it was like a crime scene because it was red. It was wild. When I woke up, I didn't know what had happened.
So Benty, I don't know, and I don't know later in his career, but That time Benty was a little. He was kind of built like you, Wally.
Yeah, I've heard. I've heard he's built like me. That's why I wanted to have him on to talk about it.
He was a little quicker though. He's a really good skater.
Oh, thanks, bud. Maybe that's why he's got the one NHL game played, eh?
Not as good a goal scorer though.
Oh man. What do you think ever happened to Van Nynatten? He was so excited about the first episode.
I don't know. I saw him vaping there. He's probably having a cigarette.
Yeah, he was hitting her. Okay, well, what about we talked about the Purple Eagle alumni things. I guess the Sugar King thing, we were supposed to have a full deal, eh, Lax? We were supposed to have like a full thing, like
50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had won it 20 years before that, right? So it's supposed to be a 50th anniversary and a 20-year anniversary of winning it, right?
Yeah, because Big Bays did that book. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it's pretty well done.
I got the book. I got the book in my room. I traded them straight up. A 2 Ales and Hockey Tales jersey for a book.
He told me he was going to send me one. I haven't seen it yet. I think he probably forgot.
But yeah, no, like that would have been great for 50 years. The conversation that we had over Zoom was awesome to see everyone like
Until I fell asleep.
Yeah. To get everyone back and Officer and Easter and all those guys, if we can get together for golf in the summertime or whatever, that would be great too. We'll see where the world.
You were one of the last standing, right?
Yeah.
Falling asleep is me, you, PK. Who else is on there?
Graham was there for a while. No, Officer, right? Or Easter.
It would be maybe. Easter can last, man. With his podcast, that guy, he went through a magnum of wine and a few beers. He can last.
Again.
Yeah.
When's Jeff Valentine getting on here? Isn't he? You probably don't know him that well, do you?
I know him a little bit because he switched being from he coached you right before the Sugar Kings, and then when I was on the Sugar Kings,
your first year, he was
he was the assistant coach, yeah. But then afterwards there, he became the coach of Listowel. And I still remember this conversation. Like I still remember it. I was outside Mike Hackendort's house and Valentine was there and we got chatting and we were going to play them in the playoffs. And he told me that, that they were going to break my arm. He said, I know how to beat you guys. And he says, we're going to break your arm. And I was like, I'm an 18-year-old kid. I don't think you should tell me that. That's mean.
He wasn't joking.
He wasn't joking.
Not at all. Not joking.
And they tried. But we beat them handily. Yeah. So yeah, no, I know who he is. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
So were you on the team that year? You guys might have been that same year. And I don't know how true this is. I won't bring up the guy's name, but so were you guys there when we went to Ottawa the game and then we went to St. Lawrence? Do you ever remember the story? And the guy was like out, went out or whatever, and like on his own, like after everybody was back at the hotel, and he went out or whatever. He went to like this cab, got in the cab, and he took it to like this after hours bar.
Where he came back with the sparkles on it, like the sparkles on his face.
So, I don't remember any of this.
Not mentioning names, but yes, I know who you're talking about.
I don't know who you're talking about, and I can explain why I don't know who you're talking about in a second.
So anyways, I don't know if it was like there was escorts there or what. Well, I don't know exactly. And I don't know if this is a true story or not, but this is what was told. So he goes to this bar and he's like, okay, they basically say like, okay, hey, like go sit down, go up to the bartender, basically sit down at the bar, order 2 rum and cokes, and then eventually like somebody will come get you or whatever and take you back kind of thing. And so he goes up there, he's like, orders a rum and coke. I don't know, 2 rum and cokes, orders a rum and coke and sits there and waits. And the next thing he knows, and this is at like, I don't know what, 4 a.m. probably. Next thing he knows, out of nowhere, like it's Valentine's there at the same place.
I think that's true because remember when they came back and the person you're talking about, another person, because Valentine used to play for the 67s and got
Yes.
6 from Dan Tessier, right? And they were out shooting, they were unscrewing the light bulbs of the motel sign that we were staying at and shooting them, or shooting rocks or something in the parking lot.
I do remember them having sticks shooting in the parking lot. I remember hearing about them shooting stuff. Yeah, but the reason I don't really recall any of this was I also got tired that night. And Rodney bombed and shaved my arm. I woke up with a bald arm.
So that was better the year before. The year before, we went to a game at Clarkson, but we had to play in a tournament that weekend.
Ooh, what?
Yeah. We played in a tournament in
while you're on that team trip. Gosh.
Yeah. I want to say it was in Cornwall, maybe. Cornwall. Yeah, that sounds right. Because then we went across to Clarkson to the game on the Saturday night.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun. The trip
Oh,
we
it was
had,
awful.
As soon as you get to the hotel and you fill up the bathtub with beers, and then you just
The same thing. It was kind of the same thing. So we had to play like 3 hockey games. Because I think we played like Pembroke from that junior A league, Ottawa junior A league. We played like a prep school from New York. We played and then maybe like I think we played Kingston junior A, like tier 2 junior A team.
wow, yeah.
And then we didn't make it up. We didn't make it onto the finals or semifinals or anything.
Well, at least you got to play, I guess, other teams. That'd been a good experience, but those trips sure brought the Sugar Kings together, you know. Shout out to Clippy for making all that happen, right?
Yeah. Well, then the next year, the year we won, that last year I was there, we went to Ferris State, and me and Jeff, and I don't know who else, we played cribbage for the whole 7-hour bus ride back. And Dave,
Jeff, just so you know, you're muted. You'd have to unmute yourself.
I don't think he wants to talk.
Yeah, he's. I don't know what his problem is tonight. He's in a mood. Is it just still because the Leafs lost?
Hey, they play again in a couple days.
So it was another game. The altitude got to us a bit there. No Marner. We'll be all right.
No Marner, no Kosh.
Yeah, we like our team.
I liked our team. I hope they don't make any moves.
I think it always have a little bit. Just for COVID. Just got some backups, some COVID backups.
Oh man.
Um,
We know you probably got this set up on NHL 22 right now anyway. So
no, I don't. I'm a FIFA guy. So yeah, I don't get into the NHL.
What's your
Still?
team? What's your team in FIFA?
I'll go to anybody really. I'm a hired gun, you know. I'll go to England, Germany, Spain, Italy, wherever I'm needed.
So you're a player and you do like a career? Is that how?
No,
it works?
I'm a coach, manager. GM. Dream job.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, can I talk to you guys, since you guys all went to the Purple Eagles, that you guys had stickers on your helmets? Jeff, did you get stickers on your helmet as a goalie?
I think they got them for like a shutout or something. Not many. I got to mute. I got to bathroom.
Okay, you're mute. Yeah, Jeff, are you still there?
Yeah. Why? What was the question? I didn't really hear.
Did you get stickers for being a goalie? Because with the Purple Eagles, you guys got stickers on your helmets for being good hockey players, right?
Claws?
Yeah, claws.
Yeah,
you got
but I
claws.
didn't get many. Yeah, I think I had a couple one year, but I don't remember what for. Not any Barret or Lackner, that's for damn sure, you know. Just for battling. That's what you got them for.
And goalies don't battle, eh? They just got to stop pucks, right?
No, just stop it and shut up.
Rebound.
Nats, would you play rebound at the end of practices?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. What if you lost?
didn't
Would you
love
get
it.
really mad though? Like, or how would it go?
I mean, I think I probably was around 50%. I feel like, like you're playing against 5-6 guys. You should lose. But
You
maybe
think?
I wasn't.
I think that game's set up for the goalie.
Really, like a point blank shot, and you got to control the rebound and make more saves and not pull your groin.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah. I
after
think you
10
guys
minutes
should stop.
practice.
I think you guys should stop bitching and play the game. That's what I think. That's what I think goalies should do with rebound. Stop
Well, I
beat.
feel like I did. I put in my time. Yeah, nice little game. I wasn't playing it last year of in the Central League. Let's put it that way. I had moved on.
So yeah, Lax, I wanted to bring that up. That was part of the notes too, as you brought up that you guys played pro together, and Nats just straight up hacked darts while playing two touch. Eh?
The first day that he came to Tulsa, well, I remember Dan Hodge came in the room. I'm sitting in my stall and he's like, "Hey, we just traded for a goalie that I think he played college with." And I said, I'm like, I fucking knew it right away. He's like, and no, it's not a bad thing, Jeff. And he's like, Jeff Van Nynatten. I'm like, Van Nynatten? He's like, yeah. Like, he's coming from Rio. He'll be here tonight. So Jeff shows up, like, drives all day from South Texas, gets to Tulsa, puts his like gitch on, comes out. Hey guys, we're playing two touch. He's got a coffee and a dart and just kicking around, and guys are looking, and I'm like, just wait. You'll see. He'll show you. But then after practices, like Jeff said, he wouldn't play, rebound or whatever. It would be, you're staying on the ice to me. Here's my goalie gear. And he'd go out, take his goalie stuff off, and come out and play your stuff. And we'd wheel around for probably at least 30, 40 minutes after practice. And he'd just be high stepping and shooting, and I'd be in net. Like, just,
You would play goalie?
he'd
Nice
make
long
me.
shots for him.
Working on
Andrew,
his
you're
slap
Andrew,
shots.
you're your own man. He can't make you.
Well, I saw the glimmer in his eye that he wanted to do it. So
He does.
I can't believe you put your hands in those goalie gloves.
I mean, it was essential. Nobody cared. We were 25 games out of the playoffs, all collecting a paycheck, play hockey.
Hey, you know what? I kind of wish I had been part of that team. I don't, like been part of a team that like. No, I don't wish that.
You
wasn't
wish
that
you were part of a
fun, but-
team
No.
that Nats switched from goalie to D.
No.
I was way
That's something I never experienced. A team that
more
just
fun
like
there than
are
Rio.
so far out of the playoffs, like the last like month or two of the season is just, means
Oh.
nothing because you're so bad.
It would be awful, especially when you like.
Why did they trade for you? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like they're that far in the playoffs. Why'd they trade for you?
I think in Tulsa that year we had probably 15 goalies. Like,
Yeah. I think
They
the
were
last guy left because his girlfriend was having their kid or something, wasn't he?
I think
So
so.
they
Yeah.
didn't have a goalie, so they needed a goalie.
Yeah, and I
Was Rio any good?
I
Were
was
you
in
any good?
Mississippi.
Or
Huh?
wherever you were before? Wherever you were before, were they in the playoffs?
I started in Rio Grande, and they're in the same spot as Tulsa, 25 games out. Then I went to Mississippi, who was one of the best teams in the league for 2 weeks. And then their goalie came back, and they had to get rid of one of us, so they got rid of me. Back to a team that was 25 games out of the playoffs. So
I find it very interesting when
The year
I've talked to a
before,
lot of
Rio made the
goalies in the
playoffs.
shed, man. Like,
but, we had like a 20-game losing streak. What's that?
I find it interesting talking to goalies because there's really not a lot of you like out there. And when you get stuck behind a guy and you're just a backup for like a year, like you're screwed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that
Hey.
can't happen really well. It happened your rookie year. And then,
Well, Jeff missed the really trying times. Like we had Butch Cable at the start as our coach, and it was just we were on like horrendous losing streaks, and it was always we got to get better, and there was
I was
nothing
doing the
changing.
exact
So
same. Yeah, I was doing the exact same thing in Rio. We had a 20-game losing streak at the start of that year too. So
A
So we just-
20-game losing streak.
I think so. Yeah.
That's,
So
I'm
one
sure
day-
I
Wally.
played ping pong against you. I'm
You
sure
know-
you handled that well.
There would have been some OT and some shootout losses, but yeah, it was about 20 winless. So the pressure was just ratcheting up.
Like
I hadn't won a game in months.
crawl against
So yeah,
Laredo.
I wasn't fun to be around at all.
No, Laredo was good back then, Barret. Really good.
Saying is they
Laredo,
probably played
sure
Laredo
right there.
12 of those 20 games. Like
Laredo
right?
and Odessa. Odessa was
You
really
played
good.
them like every second game.
Yeah.
Wally, when you
Yeah.
that year when you were in Dayton, I was in Cincinnati. I know you weren't there the whole time. We played 2 exhibition games, 12 regular season games, and a 7-game playoff series. That's 21 games.
Yeah.
Who did?
We played
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
Like-
no, you're talking about Cincinnati against Dayton.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I thought you were talking about the Central League still.
It's the same though. The sketch, like right, like the
No,
when the
we
teams are
played.
close, you
We,
play so much.
man, we
It was like every
played-
second week.
We played each other so many times, and you know what? Because I know how big of a competitor you are and how angry you still are about it, probably. Because I could still picture the vein in your forehead after you guys lost game 7 to us. When we came back down 3-1 and then put you guys out. You guys were better than us, I thought.
I don't, yeah, but we would not have won as far as you guys did. We didn't have that good a team. It doesn't
We
hurt
had a-
so
we had
bad
a-
now.
We had a good coach and a good goalie. That's what we had.
Hurt so bad now because I won 2 championships in the next 3 years.
Oh,
Kinda
that's cool.
Forget about that. Kind of forget about that series, but
Not
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah. Woo.
hey, speaking of last weekend, I did wear my Niagara CHA championship ring to the game. They were pretty impressed.
You guys got
What?
rings, did you?
Forgot it.
What'd you say, Nats? Man, they don't have good internet in Stratford, eh?
Still in the country.
Holy moly.
But his
Dial
TV
up.
was 15 seconds ahead of all of ours. So
Yeah.
Can't figure out internet, but he's got TV down. Look at him. Oh, he's frozen again. Okay. So we never got talking about stickers, but Ehgoetz, I bet you your helmet was full. Lackner, yours would have been all right. Nats wouldn't have got many. They probably would have been taking his off the next morning, after he messed up.
So I was going to ask him that is he frozen or is he just sitting
He's
like
really frozen. Yeah, he's out of it. He'll be back if he wants to be.
that? Bubs, you think so our coach at the time was a former goalie, right?
Berkey,
So you would figure like, hey, like the head coach was a goalie, like a college hockey goalie, right? He might spend some time working with the goalies, right?
Right.
I don't think he ever spent a single minute working with the goalies, right?
No.
Is it kind of like when a goalie ends their playing career and none of them want to ever play goalie again, right?
Yes, he had player skates, like he never had goalie skates, right? Like
Oh yeah.
so, like he never, what I mean, like he never did one thing with the goalies. It was kind of almost like mind blowing. Like I don't know, he wasn't that old when we were there, right? He would have been in his early 40s probably, I guess.
Yeah.
He wasn't that far removed from playing. Like you don't have any goalie drills that you maybe work with the goalies a little bit here, like give them a few pointers. Never, not once.
That is interesting because, like, for me being a coach now, when it comes to coaching the goalie, I don't know anything, man. I can't even put their pads on,
Yeah, but if you were a goalie, you would probably mention a few things to
Then,
them.
But
then you know what
even
you're
when-
talking about and you could tell them what to do.
Right. But even when Albie O'Connell came in and he would like deal with the forwards, Berkey was still down with the forwards and Jerry did the defenseman, but it was never, like you said, there was never any.
I don't think we ever had a goalie coach, did we?
Who was that guy? I can't remember. Dutch would know if he comes back, but there was one guy that he looked a little
Maybe
beat
we
up.
did
I can't.
briefly.
Hey, Barret,
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
were you allowed?
Because he called Didn't he start calling Jeff Smokey or something?
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, if he's
I think-
smoking at the 2-touch circle, you could call him Smokey.
I think that was a local Buffalo guy. Yeah, I don't know what he
Yeah.
did. I don't know who that guy was.
Just
That
picked
wasn't
him up.
very long though. That was only
No.
a few weeks, I bet.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brent. What was that?
I don't know. I forget now.
Allowed what?
What did I say?
If I was allowed something.
I don't remember. Man, once the train's left, it's left. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Okay. Favorite night as a Purple Eagle. Favorite night at University, Niagara. Barret, start with you.
Like hockey wise?
I don't know.
I guess we won like our conference championship. We were going to the NCAA tournament.
You
One
would
in
go,
overtime.
You would go to hockey. Yeah. Okay. Go.
Yeah. One in overtime. But then it was in like Nebraska where like Tri-Cities USHL team is. That's where the tournament was. And it was a dry county. So like there's a bunch of parents there. So all the like I remember Millsy's dad like drove like 2 counties over to like buy enough beer, like buy a whole bunch of like cases of beer for everybody to like drink back to the hotel. So I don't know. That was fun.
Yeah. Lackner, how about you?
I'll say the same thing, like winning in Kearney, Nebraska, and then probably then going on to the NCAA tournament against Boston College with all their draft picks and stuff. And I think Barret, you and I and Nynatten that did the press conference before, and they're like, you get how many first round NHL picks? And we're just like, well, see what happens, drop the puck and let's go kind of thing, right? But I don't know.
Yeah. We got all right though.
No,
Venti, that's the funny thing is Venti had a penalty shot to tie the game late in the second period and he missed. Right? Am I remembering that correctly? I'm pretty sure I remember that correctly.
You would remember.
Oh,
and
Barret, if it comes down to a competition, whether or not you won or lost, there's no doubt you remember.
Yeah.
You're right. That happened for
if
sure.
Jeff wasn't frozen, he could probably confirm that with you. I don't recall that because I don't have the memory.
I
that
bet
and Jeff
you.
do, but
I bet you, Barret, you're so competitive. I bet you remember the one and only time you're in the pitcher batter catcher tournament and how you got eliminated. Because man, were you mad?
I don't. Was it in your backyard?
Yep.
I don't know. Do you remember?
I do. Oh man, the vein was out front forehead. It was out. There was a hit and it hit behind the plate and it was a tennis ball.
I know this
and
rule. You guys are a joke and I'm still right and you guys are wrong. When the ball lands in the foul area and bounces into fair territory, it's a fair ball wherever somebody touches.
See, look,
it doesn't matter if it bounces
the veins
in foul.
almost look. The veins.
It doesn't
almost
matter
back.
if it
look,
bounces in foul territory first.
The veins almost back.
But I do think he's right, Brent.
No, I know. I don't know what
No, I
happened.
am.
I didn't even know the rules. I was just there listening to everything. I'm not a baseball player. I don't know the rules. But man, it was a melee. It was a melee. That's
all I
how
remember is that
we had to get a neutral umpire after that year because whoever made the call, I think you were ready to destroy them.
I just remember that your parents must have been up at the cottage or whatever for the weekend. Your dad comes back. He's like, why are there like batter's boxes and a pitcher mound worn into my backyard grass? Like,
well, that wasn't a
They-
weekend. That was the whole summer they were up in Kincardine. Like,
They did come back from Kincardine. We had a beer garden set up. We had foul lines painted. But then after that year, we really did it right. Then we went to Basler's. I guess that's when you're not involved, so you're back in Kincardine or wherever you're at. Oh man, the next 5-6 years, Lackner and I talked about in his episode. We had pitchers mounds, we had backstops, we had the full deal out in Linwood, Ontario. It was incredible.
hey, so when at Niagara, we would do it in the springtime, right? After the hot season was over, we would start playing it out in like the little, I would call it a courtyard. It was basically like.
So you guys played pitcher batter catcher too?
Yeah. So
I got Western Michigan guys playing it too.
So So we had this big, and a bunch of the baseball guys live there too. We were friends with them. So we're like, okay, whatever, like, we're having beers or whatever, and we're like, well, we'll play you guys. Or I think they were laughing, they were kind of chirping. I was like, all right, let's go, like, we'll play it. So we had it was like 4-on-4, and we play in this game, and they had one guy that got drafted like 5th or 6th round or whatever as a pitcher, so he didn't pitch because we're playing with like a tennis ball and like they're in season. He's like, I'm gonna throw my arm out.
like Andrew.
So anyways, he just had another guy pitch, and we had this one guy, Luke Perillo, who was he would throw hard, like he was a good pitcher. So we play these guys in the game. Meanwhile, like, we're hockey players, they're baseball players. We're playing pitcher, batter, catcher, baseball, right?
Come on, really?
So
this is it, like on the road, like in the courtyard,
outside of like our townhomes, like in there, like where we lived off campus.
Yeah.
So we're playing these guys, and a bunch of people were sitting there watching, drinking beers too. So we got 4 hockey guys, 4 baseball guys, and what is like a 3-inning game, right?
Yeah.
So we're playing, and we had a catcher, a pitcher, and 2 outfielders, right? So we're playing, and they're beating us maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 runs, going in the bottom of the 3rd, and we get maybe a run. Well, we get the bases loaded, right? And Chris Weeb, who transferred there, but just played 1 year, like, he's probably the worst guy of the worst of the hockey players at baseball. So he comes up to the plate, bases loaded, like down 3 runs. And we're just kind of like, whatever, like, we're probably fucked. So pitch comes in, and he hammers it. Home run, walk-off home run, grand slam, wins the game. We beat the baseball team at baseball.
You beat the baseball team at baseball.
Yeah.
Then we started a trend where we're like, all right, well, we beat the baseball team, then we'll go try to beat other sports in their sports. We played against like the women's soccer team, didn't we?
That was
Barret, you're not competitive all, and you said all this shit.
Did we play the women's soccer team? There was, I do remember there was like at the end of the 1 year, they had like it was like a sports competition between all the teams. So like, but I don't think we crossed over to girl. Maybe we played the girl soccer team or something, but this was different.
I know we did. I 100% know
that. Maybe, I don't know if I was there for that or not, but
it might have been your year that you weren't there.
The all sports thing was kind of cool. So like we played like the basketball team and like ultimate frisbee. We played the baseball team like basketball. We played, I don't know what other sports were involved.
Ultimate frisbee? That's not the golf frisbee. That's the one where it's
no. It's like yeah. But we played somebody else in soccer or whatever, and we ended up winning that. We had some guys that are like pretty good basketball players.
Well, Andrew,
wasn't Paul Muniz really good?
Yes, he was the best basketball player, I think.
Do you know what games never came up on the podcast before? Ehgoetz, I don't think I ever played this with you, and you probably will have no idea what we're talking about. But Dave Cousineau, he's still dip dodging the shed. Andrew, do you remember? He's the one that taught me this game at Western Michigan. Do you remember TP?
I do.
What a game that was.
When you brought it back here and we played at Lions Park there, and like the thunderstorm the one day, like great.
So I guess I'll explain this, okay? Because what it is there's 2 bases. It's like squeeze almost, right? There's 2 bases where you like, but it's 2. So it's like 2-on-2, right? So you got ringette sticks, you got hockey sticks with the stick cut off. So there's 2 guys up to bat. You're on the same team, right? You're each at a base. So you play with a tennis ball, and they got hockey sticks with no blades. And then there's 2 guys in the field. You throw it, they can either swing or not. There's no balls, there's no strikes. It's not like baseball. You throw it back and forth as the outfielders, and they swing when they want. If they swing and miss and you catch it after 1 bounce or in the air, they're out. If they hit it in the air anywhere, you catch it in the air or after 1 bounce, they're out. But once they hit it, to get a run, they have to switch bases, both players. So once you hit it, you both switch bases and you have to run full tilt, right? So basically like a home run would be like you hit it so far, you guys can switch bases 4 times, but the other 2 guys have to go get the ball, throw it back. And if you hit a guy in his body anywhere and his stick's not on a base, he's out. So when you're pitching, if you hit the guy and his stick's not on the base, he's out. So the way you're safe is instead of your foot being on the base, your stick's on the base. And Dave Cousineau came up with this game, and I brought it back to Elmira, and that's how we used to work out in the summer.
Work out.
You play to 15 runs is the game, right? Flax?
Yeah.
So then if you get out, then you switch and the other team is up to bat. And then the other 2 guys, you're a team and you play to 15. It's so fun, dude.
You laugh at that it's a workout, Barret, but once you're going, like you're pretty much sprinting. Like,
and there's no breaks. Like there's no timeouts in TP.
I don't get the name. Where's the name come from?
I don't know. You'd have to have Dave Cousineau if you'd ever coerce him into my shed. Yeah, but seriously,
did he play anywhere after Western Michigan?
He played a bit in the coast and then Sheffield in the UK just for a little bit, but still trying to have him on. He was one of my mentors in life. You know,
I know he played for Stratford, but is he from up north?
Cousineau's from Waterloo.
Okay.
So Waterloo really did a great job with that age group. They got rid of Cousineau, went to Stratford, and then Dietrich and Collins went to Elmira. So pretty good players from Waterloo, that age group, I'd say. So I guess Nynaten's gone, eh? That's it for him, it looks like.
He wasn't very engaged anyways.
I think that Leaf loss hit him pretty hard.
He really doesn't like to lose, does he?
He's probably trying to tweet Sheldon Keefe right now, some changes he's supposed to make.
Oh man, between you, Ehgoetz, and him, I'd say you 2 might be 2 of the most competitive people I've ever played hockey with. You know what?
He's worse than me.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, he goes really high. Like he gets really, like he loses it over the top, but you
pretty emotional.
But you get angry until you get even.
Like Brent, I've seen him slash like a teammate like right in the neck after something, and then we were doing like the start of training or whatever, like fitness testing, and he threw a puck at Millsy's face, didn't he? Like in the locker room, like
yeah, like it was so like random.
Like threw it like hard.
There was like a puck in somebody's stall, and he just like whipped it at him and hit Millsy right in the face. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And it was like our training was a lot different than Western Michigan was. Like you would see my workout programs and eating and all this stuff, and I was pretty like diligent in following it.
You wouldn't even eat butter on your toast when you worked at the Elmira golf course. We worked at the Elmira golf course, and you wouldn't put butter on your freaking toast, man.
Hey, our coach would never let us have mayonnaise. We get like sandwiches and subs or something on the road. Like he wouldn't let us have mayonnaise on there. Which I didn't care.
Pepperoni on our
Lackner would actually listen to him. I'd be sitting there. We'd have coffee and toast while we're working at the golf course. We'd cut some grass. We go up for our break, and we're sitting there having our toast and coffee, and he wouldn't put fucking butter on it. I'm like, dude, they're not here. They're not watching.
Brent, I didn't make the butter on your toast. Team or the all Niagara team of all time like Barret did. So we were in different like areas of this, right? We used to,
you're saying if you ate the butter, you weren't gonna play?
When did we have body fat? We had body fat every week, Mondays, right?
I don't know if you were in the fat club.
It doesn't change that much, buddy. If you're fat, you're fat.
You always so we play in I forget what year this was. Maybe my junior year, maybe. So we play at Colgate on I think it was like a midweek game. And back in the day, like the Sabres game, there was this sports network. It was called Empire Sports. and that's where the Sabres games were on and whatever. It's not around anymore, I don't think. But for some reason, like our game was on that channel that night, right? So it's not like Western New York, maybe Niagara Falls, St. Catharines get it, whatever. So we're playing in Colgate, and so we get the game tape, and we lost. It was a close game, we lost. So they give us the game tape, and for some reason, like our coach, like we got like a three-hour bus ride home from Colgate. So our coaches put it in the game tape on the bus instead of like throw a movie on. Like, no, we put the game tape in, right? So we're sitting there watching, like they're obviously like pissed or whatever. But anyways, we're watching this game tape. Some guys are watching, some guys aren't. Sounds on from like the Empire Sports broadcast. So, even if you do like whatever, like it goes to the commercial break. But for that game tape, it doesesn't go to the commercial break. It goes to, it's just the Empire Sports like announcer, like
In
whatever
between
he's
periods.
during the
And he's
TV
saying
timeout or
whatever.
right?
Yeah.
So we're sitting there on the bus, and there's a TV timeout in the middle of this game, and the camera's like on our coach, right? And the announcer is just like, oh, there's like, look at this Dave Burkholder, Niagara's coach, like. Look at how fat this guy is, right? It's like he's got more chins than a Chinese phone book. And like we're sitting in the back of the bus, like guys.
And you guys all heard that on the bus.
Yeah. So then, like he's pretty, he was overweight, whatever. And so then we get back, and like all of a sudden, like the next few weeks, like. Our coach is like in the gym like every day, like working out. He's on the bike, like throwing the medicine ball around. And I say that lasted for like maybe like 2-3 weeks, and then he shut it down.
Yeah. Oh man, that's tough when you put the game on to try and like piss off the players, and then that happens to you. Tough bounce. Hockey
I've had
gods.
my coach in Utah did that for us. We rode from, he either did that, we rode from Boise, we were in Boise back to Salt Lake City, which is a bus trip. It's like a 4-hour bus trip, and put the game tape on, or he would just, if he was really pissed, he'd just be like, no lights on, like no music
just
on,
lay
no
there
nothing.
in the dark. Just lay
sit
there in the dark. Yeah.
Until we get home.
Don't even look at each other.
Like no talk. Yeah, you weren't allowed to talk. You weren't allowed to do anything.
There was a
Just
time
sit down and be quiet.
Western Michigan Broncos in my time. We flew back all the way from Alaska, and we weren't even allowed to talk to each other and look at each other. I'm talking from Alaska to Kalamazoo. We didn't talk to each other. We didn't look at each other. We couldn't even. It was a long trip. Oh god,
Coaches are ridiculous. Those guys can't laugh. Those are no coaches laugh like that. I don't think.
No, it's all
they've all
changed.
been weeded out.
Yeah, it's all changed.
Even last weekend, I'm talking to the new Niagara coach. He's like, in the trainer and stuff. He's like, you can't even yell at these kids now. They'll just start crying. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because they like it's soft, but where when we grew up, it was like way too far. We got to find like the happy median where you push people, but like you're still on their team, right? You're still
yeah. I got lucky. I had good coaches. I didn't have anybody that was too bad, right? Like anybody in Elmira I had wasn't bad. Blocky wasn't bad. Like Valentine was kind of Valentine, but Bob Noble came in after Blocky left. He was good. He was a good coach.
Yeah.
Matthews wasn't a good coach, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
Matthews wasn't a good coach, but he wasn't a hard ass. Like,
and he wasn't a bad guy. He was doing the best he could. He was trying his hardest. Like he was putting everything he had into doing it. Like he was. He just.
I think his delivery was just bad. I think he was good. Like he knew the X's and O's, but for him to like tell us about it it was outrageous to us. Like. For him to drive to Columbus and ask
if I was allowed to drop it back on my backhand, I said it's easier to drop it back to the D man on my backhand than coming across my body on my forehand. I'm like, I don't want to swing around the net on my forehand, and then I got to like drop it back this way. I want to swing around the net towards like my off wing, so then I can drop it back easier, or I keep going. And he did. I remember that, right? I guess he drove to Columbus to ask
Andy Murray,
who became the coach of Western Michigan, folks. That's the hockey spider web.
Hey, so I think the part that killed him though was like he'd come in, say something, whatever, then like, and Kendall I love the guy. He is hilarious. He's one of the funniest guys I've ever met. But like Matthews would leave the room and Kendall would just be like, right? And then other guys like pile on, like, yeah, whatever. We're teenagers. We're all kind of assholes at the time. But then like Kendall did not like him, right? Kendall, like,
No.
it was mutual. And I remember we were talking about on the Zoom call or whatever about that night in Orangeville where him and Eddie, like I completely forgot about that story where they went out for Oktoberfest and like got caught out and they just he sat them on the bench in Orangeville the entire time. And Kendall took his gloves off and like was like doorman opening the door. And then someone whose stick or someone's skate broke or got hurt couldn't play at the end. And then Eddie who didn't play the entire game. They put him out for the first shift of overtime. And we get scored on and lose to like the 9th place team.
That was Orangeville, right?
Yeah. So, but like Kendall, like just late. And mind you, I think Matthews, like there's a lot of stuff there that's an easy target. Like Kendall just like fed off of, and like everybody else is kind of like, yeah, like whatever, like that was a joke or such a joke, like pile on.
Well, it was all interesting because you didn't call the lines out by the centerman's name. Like it wasn't the Ehgoetz line or the Kennel line. It was the purple line, the blue line, or the yellow line, right?
Well, also, I think where he lost me more than anything was like he just rolled 4 lines for the entire game. Power play, penalty kill, pulled goalie, everything, right? Like
didn't matter. Everybody was gonna play. It was like crazy.
It was worse than minor hockey. Even minor hockey coaches would like put your good players out when the goalie was pulled.
Well, like when it's when like the thing, like for me, right, when I'm coaching minor hockey right now, it's like I want to play everybody the exact same amount, but I also know that come the end of the game, if we win the game or lose the game, will change the whole mood of the parents, the children, of everybody, whether or not you win or lose the game. So if I have to make some minor adjustments to ensure the fact that maybe we will have a better chance of winning, I'm going to have to do that so everybody can be in a good mood.
Yeah, but you're only talking 1 or 2 shifts, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking at the end, 1 or 2 shifts. But I remember
he wouldn't even do that.
I remember there would be penalties, and like yourself, all 3 of us we were high-end players at the time, right? On forward, yourself and myself were high-end players, and we rolled 4 lines. And if there was a penalty, we were putting out the 4th line guy to kill a penalty. Yeah, it was whoever was next. It didn't matter, but we had a stopwatch. We had a stopwatch, and if it was over 25 seconds, you came off at the whistle. It didn't matter who you were, if you were tired, if you had worked hard, if you had back checked hard. There's times now where I'm coaching under 11. I'm like, this kid just back checked really hard, or this kid just did that. I'm like, he's going to be tired. Get ready for him. It's not about a stopwatch. It's about how hard you actually work to when you're on the ice, right?
Ranker loved it because he got PP time. Like,
well, by the end of his career, he deserved it too, though. But like everybody did, everybody got PP time. 4th line didn't matter. The only part I remember.
You're welcome. You're welcome, guys, for me sticking my neck out and actually getting, going to Graham and Jeff said and getting him fired. You're welcome.
Do you know what though? You probably changed a lot of our lives by doing that. Realistically.
Yeah, you know what? You probably wouldn't even met your wife. Probably wouldn't have the beautiful children you have now.
Well, everything would be different, right? You never know. But like when you talk about all this stuff, it all. But like realistically, like if we don't turn that season around and end up winning the Sutherland Cup, there's a lot of guys that don't get the notice that they got.
Maybe not. I don't know. So I don't know.
You
Have I ever
never
told
do
you
know,
so?
do you, Barrett? That's why we
No,
talk
you
about
don't.
this stuff.
So before he got fired, like a few weeks before he got fired, he's like, "Hey, like, I want to, let's go out. I'll take you out to dinner. We'll, get on the same page, kind of thing. Work through some stuff. Like, what am I gonna say? I can't say no, right?" So he picks me up, and remember he drove like that white Tempo or whatever, like, wheels over, like picks me up. We go to front row in Waterloo. It was like a Thursday night or something or whatever, right? So whatever, it's like a sports bar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it turns into like a bar at like a certain time.
Yeah.
Like
9 p.m. Yeah.
So Bryce, who was the assistant coach, he comes, he met us there. Like he was in and out though. Like he ate, like whatever, I gotta go. I don't know what else he had to do, but so anyways, it's me and Dave sitting there, and like basically like they clear all the tables away, like all these like college students are coming in, like the lights are off, the music,
Ready to hit the
bass is
dance
pumping.
floor. And
Yeah.
you, Dave,
And we're still sitting there, me and him at a table. I'm looking around. I'm like, hey, like, let's wrap this thing up or whatever. He told me that night, he's like, oh, yeah, this one school called about you. And I told him you weren't, they shouldn't take you. I'm like, what? I'm like, but, we had a good chat tonight. So maybe I'll call them back and put in a good word for you. I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter at this point. Like,
really?
Yeah.
It's interesting that like when someone's got your back, and like in the hockey world, when you ask around, especially when you're from Elmira, Ontario, not many people would know who we are, or Kincardine for anywhere really. But like until someone's got your back and it's like, hey, check this kid out. Like you got to come look at this kid. Like watch this kid. It doesn't really happen until someone like says that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how many like schools are looking around back in those days. Like, there's probably
yeah.
I'll tell you this. So I remember the first night I met the coaches from Niagara. We played in Kitchener. Remember they used to have Tuesday night home games? We played in Kitchener on a Tuesday night, and we played it in the odd in the big rink for some reason, which we usually never did. And after the game, I talked to the Niagara coaches. There's two of them there, and I talked to Union. And like I didn't even heard of Niagara before that. But this is not pre-internet days, but like
no, I know, I was there.
Like you couldn't just go online and look up like all the
we got pamphlets.
Like,
you got pamphlets in
Yeah,
the mail
yeah.
of like this is the Niagara Purple Eagles, or this is whatever school, and they sent you a pamphlet.
They're like, where is this? They're like, oh, it's right across the border. I'm like, is this Division One? They're like, yeah, we were in the NCAA tournament last year, like in the quarterfinals. Like, I'm like, okay, I don't know what to tell you, but like up to that point, like, and then the next week I went down there and I got my offer. So like they had to have seen me play before that, right? I'm guessing.
Honestly,
they didn't watch me one game. Like, I don't know, like there had to have been other schools at our games that we don't even know about.
Honestly, I think it's they show up, they would watch game, and then they would be like, well, that kid's good. Like I honestly, I think that's what happened. Like, and then like in our league, there were only so many teams. And like when I start talking to my shed, I know which schools were at the games because that's where we went. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
No. So Cornell was there, Matt Molson, right? Cornell was there. They were barking up my tree a bit.
Get in there.
I wasn't. Yeah. No, but like that, it was all the same schools. Clarkson was there, Chris Blight, right? Western Michigan, Fair State. That it was all the same schools. Niagara, those were the schools that were coming to watch.
Weren't you supposed to go to Northeastern? Like, weren't they going to take you as a true freshman?
They were around because they had
Yeah,
some
no,
guys. Duggan
that's
went
where I
there.
went.
Harriman went there, right? There's a
Right.
few guys went
Yeah,
out
but
there.
it's the same schools. Those were the schools that were coming to watch our league. And when you think about it, as an assistant coach in NCAA, how much time do you actually have? How many leagues can you actually go watch? Where I think now looking at it, I think that league has been one of those leagues that are like, we don't have time to go watch that league. So now those kids have to go elsewhere because you only have so much time to watch certain leagues. But like now with video and everything, you think it would help that. But that league, like they don't get scholarships out of there anymore. It's sad.
No. Yeah, they don't. Well, the kids that do, they'll sign, and then they'll go play somewhere else the next year. For a
Well,
year before they go to
what's
college,
crazy
right?
is that there's two kids from Listowel I played with on the Ripley Wolves, Willie and Nickel. So both these kids are winners. They won the Sutherland Cup. Their age in junior B just like expired, and they are both like 1,000% better than NCAA players. Like they're good enough to be doing all this stuff, but they never got noticed playing for the Listowel Cyclones. And like they were both very, very good players, I thought.
Yeah, I think after whatever happened in junior B where we got all of ours, I think it moved to the North American League and USHL and all
and then
that.
the BCHL.
The BC was a big one because I know.
But people started leaving. People started leaving to go to those leagues, and that's when it's done, right? As soon as, yeah.
Well, I know Andrew Coburn he was in Elmira and then went out to Vernon and then got his scholarship to Alabama Huntsville. And then Adam Brubaker played in town, local kid, and then went out to BC and played in there. And then he went to RIT. I think he's still playing pro. I forget what system he's in, but I think he's still playing the HL. But
really,
right?
From where? From Elmira?
He's from like Woolwich Township. I'm not sure if he's
really.
Yeah.
How many?
You might want to reach out. Might be a good pod.
I didn't realize how many hockey players have there been from Elmira since our days? I don't even know. I know Tyler Brenner dipped his toe in for a bit, right? And then who else was there?
There was two. There was one that went to Cornell and one that went to Maine. Can't remember their names. This
from
was
Elmira?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And
hey, so we talk about like scouts and stuff, and the only reason I brought that up is that here in Chicago we have a USHL team, and Brock Sheehan, who was a teammate of mine in Cincinnati for a couple of years, my last 2 years, pretty good friends with. He's the head coach of it now here. And Owen Power played here the year before he went to Michigan. Brisson, Pat Brisson's kid, who's at Michigan, he played here. Jason Blake's kid is the leading scorer of the league one of the leading scorers of the league right now. He plays for them. That Fantilli, I don't know if you guys know that name. He was like supposed to be like the top pick in the UHL draft. He came here to play. They're stacked. But anyway, so they were in the finals last year in the USHL. USHL, like,
it's crazy how big it is, eh?
It's really the only, I think there's maybe 8 teams in each conference. So there's only 16
you know what
teams.
I gotta piss. I haven't pissed on the pod in a while. I'm going piss. You keep going. You're on a groove. Go for it.
So anyways, I go to this. They were in the finals last year, so I go to the game, and they don't get the team here. They don't get very good crowds. So, but I'm there, and there's a few people there. But then I see like there must have been, I want to say like at least 30, maybe 40 scouts there. Like, and you can tell, like, and obviously, like the USHL is a very highly recruited league. Guys are getting drafted in the NHL.
Mhm.
Everybody, if you're a regular in the USHL, you're going to a Division I school somewhere, right?
For sure.
Basically, everybody on that team, they've almost everybody is committed somewhere before that season even started. But you got all these scouts, like that's, you know what I mean? Like if there's 30, 40 scouts at this game, like I'm sure when we played, there was more than just 1 or 2 guys coming once a month. There has to be.
But I think for Jeff and Millsy and myself, like, and the same for, well, Labatt after you, Brent, I think that you probably paved the way to say, okay, well, if we got Barret from here, maybe we have to keep going back to see what else.
That's how it works, though.
Yes.
It's the same. I haven't been listening because I was peeing, but it's the same as an agent, right? So when a team goes to an agent and they're like, well, I think you should take what do you need? And they're like, well, we need this. We need a top line right winger. We need a top line left winger. Or we need a third line, whatever. And they give them the right player and that fits. Then that team or that coach is going to go to that agent next time and say, give me more of that shit. Right?
Yes.
And that's how it worked, I think. It started with you, Barret. Way to go. You know
what? I don't think we had any. Well, I was going to say, obviously, like before I got there with like Collins, Dietrich, and Hani, and like whoever else on that team, right? Like there was guys that went to school, but when my first 2 years, nobody went anywhere. I don't think.
because you sucked.
I was gonna say outside of like
People don't
Yeah,
people,
before.
but like seriously, in hockey, in the world, like when you start talking around, people who win shit go places, and the people either you're really good or like your team wins, and that's what keeps you going, right? And like
The Guelph sucked. Went to Cornell. Blight went to Clarkson.
and they were really good. They were one player. Our team had 7 players go. They had one player go. That's what I mean. The Elmira.
Yeah, but
so there's you.
My first 2 years,
me,
we had no players go
Lackner,
anywhere,
Rank.
and we were better.
No, hold on. I'm not done. Van Nynatten. Like who all went places, and like this is all from one team. Like if your team sucks and you're the leading scorer, yeah, you might get to the next place, and then you got to keep chipping away. But winning, everybody succeeds. That's just the way it works. You know, that's why the Cincinnati team there, you guys started winning, after the Dayton Bombers mopped the floor with you, taught you a few things,
Yep, you're right.
And then you guys started winning because you're like, well, that can't happen again, right? You were
A
like,
year after you.
it was like, you were like, I've lost enough of ping pong against that guy. Can't happen again.
That next year when we won the championship, like our team was ridiculous.
Yeah. You had a coach that played, or he coached in the UK. Wasn't it that Chuck Weber guy? Does he still coach?
Yeah, he's an assistant at RPI right now. Has been for the last few years.
He's an assistant now in RPI.
Yeah. So hey, this would be a good interview for you. Dave Smith from Arthur, Ontario, former Elmira Sugar King. He's the head coach there.
Really? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know him. He played in Orlando in the IHL, probably when Dan Snyder was there. That's when Chuck started getting into coaching. That's how they know each other from. Jared Scaldi was on that team as well. And they won the championship in the IHL. And then Dave Smith played, I don't know if he played after that or not, but he ended up as an assistant, I believe, at Canisius maybe. And then, sorry. He was an assistant at Mercyhurst. He became the head coach at Canisius for a few years and then got head coach at RPI.
Yeah, no, it's weird when you start talking around on like the different options you can do, right? Like,
and I didn't realize that he's from Arthur and played for Elmira until just, the last couple of years, probably. I bet.
I didn't know. I've never even.
And that was the connection in Cincinnati. We had my first year the first year in Cincinnati, there was no team there. That was our first year back. And we had like 4 guys from Mercyhurst, and that was the connection. Was Dave Smith was the assistant.
Well, and that's what hockey's all about, is the connection. Like, I don't know, it's weird, right? Like until you have the connection, like you don't have it, right? And like until you know each other or talk to each other, or you have the same buddy, like you just It's been very strange in the shed because I've met a lot of different people in the last year since episode 5 with you or episode 43 with you. Like I've met a lot of people, and there are people I literally didn't know. And now it's like, well, there's a connection between this guy or that guy. And it's like, if you really start looking into your hockey spider web, the thing can really explode.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Another guy from up that your way, from Port Algon is Adam Mitchell. He'd be a good guy.
He would be. And I played against him at every level, everywhere.
Is he still playing? Is he still playing or is he done now?
I'm not, he's got his German pass, right? So he's I think he was still playing. I'm not sure.
I just
In
looked up
Frankfurt.
Adam Brubaker, Abbotsford Canucks, American Hockey League.
I told him about that. I think you were gone or muted before. I said that to him.
Adam Brubaker. That
Yeah.
sounds like he's from Elmira.
Where's he from, Ehgoetz? Where's
It
he
says
listed
Elmira.
on? Is he
Elmira.
Elmira?
It actually says
Yeah.
Elmira.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
never heard of him. I'm gonna have to get. Well, how old is he?
Not that old. It's his second year.
So what's interesting to me though is from
26.
our one age group in Elmira, we have me, Lackner, Weidman, and Hogg, Rodney Bauman. That's all 1983 born birthdays in Elmira, Ontario. And you're saying since then, there's been Tyler Brenner and this cat, and then maybe one or two others.
Oh, there's got to be more than that.
I hope so. Right? They got a fancy new arena now. Hey, Lax, what are you guys doing over there
Where?
in
Here?
Elmira? You guys making some good hockey players or what?
I haven't been to a game in, I don't know. I think I've been to one or two.
Life.
My
can get
parents go
pretty
to. My
busy.
parents are. They go to. They'll go every once in a while when Elmira plays in Stratford. They go. I get an email from Clippy. Clippy's like, sat with your parents at the game on Stratford last night.
Clippy's a machine, eh?
I can't. Like, how old is Clippy now? He's got to be
Dude.
in the 80s, right?
Gotta be. And he's still rocking. Like,
I thought he was in the 80s when I went to Elmira 20 years ago, 23 years ago.
yeah, like I'm surprised. Yeah, you're right. Like, and the guy's
Maybe
a
he was like
legend.
60 then,
But like
I don't know.
the rumor has it, like when I talked to Rank and a bunch of other guys, like he was the one that was like, you need to come see Elmira, Ontario. You need to come see these players. You need to come see Barret Ehgoetz. You need to come see Andrew Lackner. You need to come see Jeff Van Nynatten. And apparently he was reaching out to all these schools before the internet. Like he was sending letters. He was sending all sorts of stuff. And like, he just cares, right?
Yeah, good guy.
Great dude. Yeah.
He would come to. I feel like he would like stop in. I don't know if he ever stopped in at a game. He'd always like email me. Like they went on these they'd go on these bus trips and they'd like drive to Cincinnati, and that would be like their first stop. They'd spend the night there. He'd always be emailing me. I haven't seen the guy in forever though.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I back when I was living in Elmira, he'd be buzzing by on the bike and stopping and we'd chat for a while. But yeah, since I've been up here, I haven't really seen him at all. But yeah, what a guy.
So
Okay.
are like the Sugar Kings and the Bulldogs are like those teams playing right now, or they done too?
Well, like Ontario
Jing-
is shut down. Like the
But the OHL's playing.
is it? I don't even know. The other, like all I know is my team's not allowed to play and I'm upset. That's all I know. I don't want to talk about it. Okay.
For at least like till the end of January, basically.
I think so.
Because in Ontario, we got to do this, but the rest of the world gets to keep doing stuff and playing hockey. But hey, what do I know?
Hey, I was in Florida there right before Christmas. We went down to the Keys for 6 days, and it's we were down in Florida in October too. Like it's
Full go.
it's like COVID doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, my in-laws are down in Naples, and it's just away you go. Like
Everything is normal.
Yeah, but we can't go to a hockey practice with 9-year-olds.
No, aren't going to get sick anyway.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. I don't want to talk about that anymore. We're having fun. Stop it. God.
Are you coaching? Is Dudgeon coaching with you?
Yeah. Dudgy and I are the coaches together. Yeah. Actually, it's awesome, man. Like Dudgeon
And that is what? Like the U10, like, but you're like are you U10? Is that it?
U11, it's called.
Oh, you guys call it different than here.
It was Adam.
Okay, so that's Adam. So
Yeah.
the funny thing is about like they switched, right, to these, like they got rid of the names and went to the ages. But like here in the US, that's U10. You guys call it U11. We call it U10 here. I don't know why. It's the same thing.
But we have 2 ages together, right?
So do we. It's the same. We have U10, U12.
In the
U14,
city of
U16.
Chicago, you have 2.
In all the US.
What?
Calls it differently. Yeah, they just call it differently. It's basically 10 and
In all the US, you're doing 2 ages together, so you're always having a younger kid.
No. Well, there's still minor and major. There is still minor and major.
That's what I meant by that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you guys had minor and major in Elmira.
Yeah, we did. That's what's
So is
different
your
about
son-
this, right? So I have like different kids each year when I'm coaching. It's like one year it'll be this age group, and then the next year it'll be the other age group.
So is your son a first year U11?
Yeah. Yeah. That is correct.
So who do you guys play?
We play some awesome towns. We play like the Listowel, Port Elgin, but then we play like some rep teams. We play Shallow Lake, Keedy. I don't know, Tara.
Oh, is that they still have the old shitty rink in Keedy?
Oh God. Have you played there? Have you seen it?
I think I've been there once. Like, it's the worst.
They don't even have doors on
They don't even
toilets.
have showers or anything, do they? Yeah.
There wasn't a door on the toilet. And I was like, I had to piss before the game. The kids were in the room and I was like, I don't think I could piss in here because like I'll get in trouble. I better go to like the bathroom because there's no door.
But do you guys play like Ripley, Teeswater, like Lucknow?
Ripley? Yeah. Oh yeah. That's so all of them have amalgamated, right? So Ripley,
Lucknow's one team now. Yeah.
And that's how it all works with all of them. They all have like these weird names and they're all wherever.
Right.
But no, that's who. Yeah. So we're doing what you did. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're unsure, just check out last episode with Jack, Evan, and Colby.
So who's Jack and Evan? What are their last names?
Moke and McGilvery.
Okay. I'm gonna say I don't know who they'd be, but I would know other parents on your team, I'm sure.
I'm sure you would know a few people around here. Yeah. But your parents kind of did, I guess, what I've done, right? Is they decided to move to Kincardine because it's a pretty nice place, right? How did they end up here?
Bruce, well, it was Ontario Hydro at the time, but Bruce Power. So
gotcha.
we moved there. I was born up in Deep River, which is Ontario Hydro Training Center up there. And then, but that was in April I was born. And then we were in Kincardine by the fall of 1981. And then they lived there until a couple of years ago. So that's the only place that's where I grew up. It's the only place I ever knew.
Yeah. And now you're in Chicago. It's strange where we all end up as hockey players, you know?
It is.
You could end it up in Niagara real quick too.
I don't know if I would have stuck around there for too long. No, it's different. So it certainly is different. So I will say that. So raising kids here is a lot different, and that's fine than my childhood. But
it's different, right? It's
not
totally
my
different.
life. It's not my life. It's theirs. So there's parts of it I do like for them. There's parts of it maybe I wish were a little bit different. I think you're always biased to your own upbringing too, right? So, but I mean, especially I know obviously COVID has been happening, and before that, our kids were pretty young. We didn't get there as much as we would like to. But you know, we want to spend a little bit. Like I want my kids to spend time in Kincardine, you know, every summer, or, you know, at least for a little bit each year to kind of experience. And
I find it very interesting, especially when you start chatting around. Is like, like I went to the Lowry's down the road today to buy eggs, and there's literally a cash register out, right, with all the money, and there's eggs everywhere, and you literally take back your carton. This is at a local farm. You take back your carton, and then you leave them the money in the register, and then you take your eggs, and it's literally an honor system. There is no doors locked. There's the thing of money sitting there, and everybody just shows up, grabs their eggs, puts the money in, and leaves. Nobody, like, nobody's stealing the money. Nobody's locking their door. And it's just, it's, I love it here.
Oh, I never had a key to my house as a kid because our doors never locked. Like if we went out of town for a weekend or something, like we went to a hockey tournament for a weekend, we might lock the door so we were gone. But like coming home from school, like my house was never locked. It was open all day.
And that's Kincardine, and that's Bruce County. That's why I love living here. Is like,
hey, do they still have we used to always at the end of Kincardine Ave and Penetangor there, they used to have like the Ferguson's corn. Used to be out there like always in the summer, like you just stop in and get a bag of corn on the cob. They still have that there?
a bag of corn on the cob?
Yeah, they used to have a huge cart with like corn.
There's always corn out, like when it's corn season, but if it's not
they had
corn
the best
season,
corn,
it's not
though.
out.
They were the best.
They made corn better than the rest of them.
Yeah.
Huh.
You know, the funny thing is my wife's an attorney.
It's all growing
for,
around here.
I know. The funny thing, after all this, moving to the city, my wife's an attorney for like ADM, which is like a huge agriculture company.
Jeepers. I thought she was with a bank.
No, she's always been in like the food business, food industry.
Huh. Interesting.
She can't even.
I don't know what you guys are up to. That's why I have to ask around. Andrew, how are you doing over there? You falling asleep?
No, I'm good. Just listening.
Hey, Bob, you allowed to turn any lights on in that house or what?
I do, but why? I can see.
Hey, where are you at in Elmira then? Elmira?
Yeah, right in Elmira. We moved back from Dallas in like 20.
I don't think I've been to your new house.
Elmira
Don't you have a pool?
We're in Elmira. Where in Elmira do you live?
Where?
There's a pool.
Yeah.
You won't even know these houses. They're all new.
So where would you remember? So we're kind of by, like, we're right behind kind of the rink, the new rink now.
Okay.
By the old, like off of Park Street, kind of.
All that whole new area. It's all new.
So is the horse track gone?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
It's a football field now.
Oh, really?
Because they have football for the high school again. Or now they brought it back.
The last time I was back there was maybe when the new rink was built, maybe the opening of the new rink.
Gotcha.
They built that silly locker room with a post in the middle. Like it's like 2020. Can't you build a locker room without a post in the middle? Like whatever.
Hey, so you've been back to the new Sugar King rink? I saw the room.
Oh, that was when it was built.
Yeah, I've only been into the room once, I think, way back, and I wasn't impressed.
The rink's fine.
The locker room for like a Sugar King,
the locker room. It's like
to try and recruit a player. Yeah, to try and recruit a player to come play for the Elmira Sugar Kings. Like the kids nowadays, they want things to be fancy, right? They want like it to be nice, and I just don't know if that locker room's really recruiting Southern Cup champions. That's all I gotta say.
They are pretty good this year. They've been pretty good this year, I think.
You keep up
Like,
to
they're at the
date?
top of the
I don't
league.
even know. I have no clue.
I think
usually-
having Collins
every
in
once
there
in a
as their
while I'll check
coach
in.
is helping them pretty good. Like,
Is Collins Collins is still their coach, eh? He was like episode like 58.
yeah.
Isn't
One of my
Millsy,
childhood
isn't Millsy
superstars.
isn't Millsy one of the assistants?
Brian
Does
Mills?
something? Scott
He's like,
McMillan.
Oh,
I think he's like head of hockey operations or something. I think something like that.
Scott McMillan was like a head coach of like the top junior team in Manitoba at one point.
yeah, he coached in Finland too.
Yeah, he was into it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a really good hockey guy, apparently, from what you read in the papers with what Colin says about him. Like, it's unreal.
Colin said the same thing to me too. He actually like he knows a lot and he's into it. And you don't have to be the best player in the world to be a hockey guy, like to know what you're talking about.
No,
Really?
I think Millsy's a pretty like smooth talker though too. He always has been. You know, he can sound smarter than maybe actually is. Not bashing him. All due respect. He's always been a good speaker.
Good speaker. I still remember back in high school going to like pickup games with him, like on lunch hours with you, Ehgoetz. Do you remember we'd play for the Sure Kings and like we would still go play hockey like Wellesley, wherever, like we go play on outdoor rinks.
Rink?
Yeah, outdoor rinks everywhere.
What do you be out there? He's like, I'm from Linwood. I have to play in the game, guys. That's the rule. It's the Linwood rule. Woody. So hey,
Woody dominated you. Uncle Wood Tits, he dominated you. He hacked up your shits for sure.
But what was I gonna say? I forget now. It was about McMillan. So somebody, who told me? Maybe Heck told me, because McMillan was off. He was a year ahead, 2 years ahead of me, maybe. I don't know. He wasn't in high school when I was there, and but Heck, I think, told me like that Millsy would just remember those vending machines outside the end of the hall outside the cafeteria. Millsy would just set all his. You remember that? Remember where I'm talking about there?
Yeah,
Main hall.
Yeah, in the high school cafeteria in Elmira.
Yeah. Millsy would just set his like whatever his books and binders, whatever, on top of on top. He wouldn't use a locker. He just set everything on top of the vending machine, and that was his locker. Then he would like stand there and wait until. And Millsy's he's a big guy, right? So he would just stand there and wait, and then like the bell would go. You'd have what 5-7 minutes between classes, whatever it was, and he would wait. And, like the hall would be like super busy, like 2 minutes before his class, like everyone's like going, and he just like grab his book and then just like sprint down that hallway and be like, "Get out of the way! Like I'm late for class!" And like he'd just be like shoving like these little like kids like into the lockers, like just all the way down the hall, just hammering kids in the lockers.
Oh man!
Now isn't he on your town council, Bubs? Is he like he's like the mayor of Woolwich now?
Pretty much. He's getting there.
Oh man!
This was before. This is before the year before you guys played. My first year in Elmira. So I went to like, remember they had that summer camp in Guelph, the Guelph University, and then the next week I went to Strathroy's camp. And when I was in Strathroy, they called my dad and they're like, "Hey, like we want to sign Barret." And so my dad, I called home that week. I'm in Strathroy because I like billeted in Strathroy for the week. And I called home. My dad's like, "Hey, like Elmira called, like they want to sign you." I'm like, "Well, okay, whatever." He's like, like Owen Sound wants to sign you too. And I'm like, "Okay, well, like I don't, like I'm in Strathroy right now. Like I don't know what to tell you." Like, so I was like, "Okay, well," I kind of was like, "Okay, whatever. Like, if Elmira wants to sign me, I'll go to Elmira." So the next week I get back. So that whatever, I finished the last couple of days in Strathroy. I go back. I go whatever. Next week I go down like Monday, Tuesday. I go down to Elmira, sign with Elmira, and then it was like another week until like the main camp started, right? So they were at the main camp, and it was like the worst organized thing ever. So you remember the office? Remember at the old rink, the coaches had the offices.
Oh yeah, upstairs.
Am I still going? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
The coaches had the offices upstairs, right? So there would be every kid that was on the ice would have to go up and talk to the coaches before they left.
Oh, I
We're
remember
talking
it.
like
It was
like
stressful
50,
shit.
50 kids, right? 40 kids. And, even if you take 2-3 minutes of the kid, that's a couple hours. Right?
Hours.
It was the worst. So I'm sitting there in line. I don't know anybody. And I've already signed, right? I'm an import, and I've already signed the team. And Millsy is standing there in line. Like, he's like the guy behind me in line. And just knows everything about everybody, like knows every guy that's out there, like just yapping, like the loudest voice in all of Elmira, right? And he's just talking away. He's like, wow, like, I don't know, we lost a lot of guys, and well, you think the team's gonna be, I don't know, the team should be good, like depends on these imports, or some of these imports, like I don't even know who some of these guys are, or some of these imports gonna be any good, like, and I'm just standing there like, just like, don't know any. I'm like, oh my God, like, basically, like, he's making it sound like the entire seasons on like some of these guys, like me, who they signed. Like, that was my first introduction to Millsy.
Well, I remember those days. I remember going up there. I remember it as a 13-year-old. It was the first time I tried out. That's weird, actually, now that I think of it, that I tried out at 13. But I remember going up there and waiting in line, and then like guys would come out like almost crying, right? Like they'd literally like,
Yeah,
they're
everybody
almost
should be
adults
coming,
and they're
right?
like coming out like almost crying. You're like, well, that guy got gas. You know what I mean, Andrew? Do you remember?
I do.
You probably left crying one time, hey, when you were like 16, 15, 14.
I remember when I was in Guelph when they had an import rule and they were like,
Oh,
you can only
yeah.
take 5 and you're the 6th. And then I had to go to Waterloo. And
Oh,
So if you played in Guelph, you were considered an import back to Elmira?
back then, yeah. You could only have so many of us.
so we had to go from Woolwich, we had to go to Guelph because they were OMHA and Waterloo was Alliance back then. So we had to go to an OMHA place, which was Guelph, and either get released from them or whatever. So we could get our outright release from the OMHA to go to an Alliance center. So
But didn't you guys, like, were both of you like on which cards though? I guess it doesn't matter, but right when you played for us that year?
Dude,
at 16 I was. So I was on a midget card. And so myself, Hogg, and I think Rodney were. So they could save us from taking up cards or whatever. So we were all on midget cards in Woolwich. So that's why, like, so Hogg and I both played. I think Rodney only played in the silver stick. But so we could play our first year, the whole year with them, and then play whatever, how many games, dress, and
Do you not-
play,
How much-
but
do you not find it weird that there's that many good hockey players our age and nobody's been coming out of Elmira except 2 dudes since? I find it weird. There's 5 of us.
Yeah, maybe if you guys, gave a little bit back. And hey, did you know that you should ask Dudgeon next time you see him about we almost had him at Elmira.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
thinking about that. Yeah, I remember being in that coach's office up there with Dudgeon and Fisher and like Eileen the one night, like in the summertime. And like we were trying to trade for him. He was going to go to, I think he went to Laurier, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. He was at school.
And we were
there,
trying
and
to trade for him.
And he was driving all the way back to Owen Sound to play with his buddies, right?
Yeah, we were trying to trade for him from Owen Sound to come play in Elmira. And I guess that they couldn't work it out.
That was the good setup about playing in Elmira, was that we had the 2 universities. So if anybody went to university there, we'd try and get them, right?
Yeah, we had some good players.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, no, like,
well, Guelph too. That's Eddie went to Guelph. That's where
you
we got
should
him.
see like Dudge
Wonger did too.
Dudge and I coaching together. It's pretty interesting, right? Because we didn't really know how it was going to go. We knew each other, but like, as far as like coaching a team together, the way it's worked is it's been great, man. Like
who's the head coach? Who's the head coach?
Well, we're co-coaches. We're co-coaches.
Of course you are.
On
course.
the paperwork, he's the head coach. That's what it says.
He's the head coach.
Yeah, he's the head coach. So he runs the D and I run the forwards. And the way that all started was like, we were like, so what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm like, first game, I'm like, I'll do the forwards, you do the D, and then we'll switch next game and then we'll see what happens. And then we just kind of stuck with what we did. But like when I talked to him about practice, about like we got 50 minutes, like he wants to use every minute of it. And I want to use every minute of it. And like he'll put together like the plan. And then all I am like, well, I'd like to try this or I'd like to try that. And then all of a sudden we got a practice plan. And it's like, boom, done. And like if it wasn't for him, man, he's helped me a lot. And it's nice to have a coach that has a hockey brain, you know, because
Why is
like,
that coach?
he knows he knows what he's talking about.
Is this the first year you've coached?
I don't know what you mean by that, but no.
Well, is this the first year you've been coaching of like a team?
Like a full team, like from the start to the finish, yes.
Okay.
Yes. We've had a lot of phases and things of that nature, but yeah, I've always been helping, but from the start to finish is my first team. Yeah.
So who coaches the other U11 team then?
It would be the Bauman, Lane Bauman's old man. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just wondering. What team does McQuillan coach?
His kid's playing AAA here on
does?
Perth.
Well, he's got 3 kids.
No, this is the youngest. He's got an hour and a half away, man. Practice and
Where, in
games.
Stratford?
Yeah. His kid's doing that.
Is his kid your kid's age?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's good. Emmett's good.
What about his older kids?
I don't know them as well. I know I know my age group, but I know his I can't.
McQuillan doesn't coach any team in Kincardine anymore?
I cannot confirm nor deny that. I know he doesn't coach my kids' age group.
He's not the head coach, Barret.
I'm pretty sure he's not coaching. He's the president of minor hockey. And he will
He's the president?
He's in charge. And I'm pretty sure he would help decide if I will get the rep team next year.
Well, maybe can Dudgeon be the head coach next year?
His
kid's a year older.
His kid's a year older. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Sorry. You're gonna have to give me the head coaching job eventually.
Run out of options.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Cato can put his name in for it.
Yeah. Maybe. No, we're all good there. All good. I'm over it, Barret.
What
Relax.
other questions you got on that form?
Yeah, I got nothing else. I got nothing. I get like what happened to Van Nynaten's attitude anyways. Like the guy loved coming to shed. And then I had like he was like so into it. And then I was like, well, you know, like we did episode 50. Maybe we could do 100. And then I gave 100 to somebody else. I think he's still upset about it.
Yeah, I don't know. He's pretty distracted.
Awfully distracted.
So who's been your best guest outside of us two?
Outside,
like,
honestly,
how about somebody that you didn't know who you thought was really good?
I would say my 2 favorites that come up. Well, there's 3 actually. There's Evan Mosey, Matt Caruth. So that they were buddies, and I didn't know them before, right? One plays.
These are Cardiff guys or England guys.
UK
guys.
They're related that way. Yeah. So Evan played for Cardiff when I went there and got naked and did a pregame speech, and then he switched to a different team, and then the new goalie is his best buddy. And it just kind of happened that like they were buddies and I had both them on, and it all just worked that like they throw Twix on the ice in Cardiff now after every win for the goalie because of us talking the shed. They throw Twix on the ice. So that's cool.
So with that being said, with like, I don't know, like the both of us have kind of mentioned a few, but who would you want on moving forward?
Everybody, all of you. I like all of you.
Who's one person you haven't had on yet that you really want to get on?
Brandon
Other than
Dietrich.
Benty.
Brandon Dietrich. Dave Cousineau.
So you get Dieter and Cousineau on. You could probably go after Brubaker. Who did you mention, Barret?
Oh, there's lots of people.
I don't know. Who did I mention? I said Adam Mitchell would be good. I said, who else? You did Bobby Raymond, didn't you?
Yeah. The Lucknow Tornado. Yep. We got him.
You said the connections in Cincinnati with the coaches. The one guy that was
actually
Dave Smith.
Oh, that's the guy that played for Elmira.
Yeah.
See, the thing is like it's like people said I was gonna run out of guys, and I'm like, to be honest, it's the opposite. Instead of running out of guys, it's like I don't have time for all of this.
You got uptown problems.
But like I want to have everybody on. I want to get to know everybody, but like
Rod Bauman, can he get on here?
I'd love to have Rodney Bauman on. He shaved my arm. He's a senior A legend.
What about for your next like collab? Why don't you get all the guys that were in your age group from Elmira? Could you bring them all together?
And this is why we have to bring people into the shed, so we can talk about these things and figure out what we should do next, right? So why don't we do that, right?
Hey, the 1981 birth year in Kincardine was pretty good too.
Who else is an 81?
Not as celebrated, but well, we won all Ontario championship 3 years in a row and then lost the next 2 years in the finals. But you may not know some of the name. Well, Joey MacArthur is one of the names.
Yeah,
he's very good defenseman. Played for Owen Sound. Dave Robertson was he played for Durham Junior, in the Metro League Junior A. And then played for Owen Sound. Got drafted by Ottawa. Steve Stepaniak, who was good, as tough as they come, right?
Yeah,
played for the Bulldogs, and he played for Welland, Junior B in Welland. And actually, who was one just as good as one of the best on that team. You wouldn't know this name probably as Darren Smeagol. Was a really good player too. I don't think he even played junior hockey, but we had some good teams.
Yeah, no, and like it's so fun for me coaching this Kincardine team. Like, I want to try and help them be the best little players they can be, and man, it's fun. I don't know. I really like Kincardine. I really like the vibe around here.
So I think where I am, even though we live in Chicago and like the western suburbs, it's a big city, right? But still with the hockey, it's no different, right? Like we live 10 minutes from a rink. So our organization is bigger than would be in Kincardine. It'd be like Owen Sound size, probably organization, right? Like we've got in our like Silver Mite program, which is basically a type program kind of thing, right? We've got 8 teams. So probably, a few more, not a lot more kids, but a few more kids, right? And we've got 3 ice surfaces. So like, it's like they use them, but like, you get to know the people around the organization, you get to know all the kids and, especially the kids that I'm out there every week with a couple, 2-3 times a week with all the kids that are in that age group with my kids, and they get to know all the kids, get to know all the parents. And it's amazing to see, especially at that age, right? Like some of these kids can barely stand up on skates when they get out there, and to see the progress just in a few weeks, in a month, and half a season, a full season of where they came from or where they were at this time last season. Like they still might not be very good, but like they were terrible last year this time, right? Like these kids, they improve a lot at that age over, a pretty short amount of time. And it's just being on the ice and them just getting bigger and stronger too is a big part of it, but they can do more things out there. But it's kind of cool to see whether it's your own kids or it's these other kids that you've been working with, to see the progress that they make and how much they have improved over that time. So
it's so fun watching them get better. And it's like I started doing around here. This was, I guess, pre all the other banana stuff. But like I would do Wally skills days. So I'd rent the Ripley ice for an hour and then I'd get kids on and just work on skills. And I was teaching them how to like put it between their legs and like do all this stuff that I used to do. And then I'd be out on the rink watching kids that are Colby's buddies doing it. Like they'd be trying to put it between their legs. And I'd be like, where'd you learn that? And they're like, well, from you. And I'm like, what? And like it had been 6 months earlier, or a year earlier, and they remembered it. They were trying to do it. And I was like, huh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part with this layoff with our 4-year-old is the way she's progressed over from starting to now is crazy. And then with this layoff, I don't know what that'll be. But when you say you live in the western suburbs, Barret, where is that? When I played in Chicago, it was out of like Hoffman Estates. Is that anywhere close to you?
Yeah, it's probably like half an hour away. I know where that rink is. I've been out there. We're like further south from there. So that would have been, that's west, but like kind of northwest, right? So straight west would have been like Elmhurst, which is just south of O'Hare. And then we're like just a little bit further south. Elmhurst is where I play in that men's league. And then that's like a 15-minute drive for me. So, like 294, that's kind of the highway that goes around there. So I'm basically just north, just 294 and 55.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if you would know Hinsdale, LaGrange areas. So, where Oak Brook Mall is.
I was only there for a month, really.
Oak Brook Mall is like the big main mall. It's like the western suburbs, movie theaters, tons of restaurants. Like we're not far from there. So
and you guys are full open, just living, just doing.
Yeah,
stuff.
the kids wear masks to school. You have to wear, if you go into a store, you got to wear a mask and stuff. But everything's going, like nothing's shut down. So my kids play. My kids play soccer on Tuesdays, hockey on Wednesdays. They go to like a tutoring class on Mondays. They go to Chinese. My girls go to Chinese lessons on Thursdays, hockey.
Sorry, what was that now?
Chinese lessons. They're learning to speak Chinese.
Why?
I don't know. My wife signed them up for it.
You're gonna move, aren't you?
No. We have our friend in the neighborhood. She's a doctor. She's Chinese. They have a little girl that's kind of around their age, so she was going to sign her up for lessons. So Rebecca, I don't know, she agreed to it, put them all in together. So
your kids are going to know Chinese?
They know it a little bit. I mean, better than me. I don't know any of it. We've been doing it for a few months. They've been doing it since September, probably once a week.
Oh.
I don't know.
Hey, if I could have learned more languages, I would love to know more languages. That's one thing.
Did you learn anything when you played?
Oh, ich kann sprechen ein bisschen Deutsch. Yeah, kind of problem. Oh yeah, no, I canceled my internet and cable, and did an unemployment meeting all in German, and got paid unemployment all summer in Canada. That's pretty good German, I'd say.
I guess so.
You can't speak English in your unemployment meeting.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wish I spoke another language. So I don't know if Chinese is the one they need, but whatever.
Well, I didn't know if French was the one I needed, but
as long as it doesn't get in the way of hockey, that's fine. They can keep doing it.
I agree. Well, Andrew, you got anything before we shut her down?
No, thanks for having us on again. Sorry we lost Dutch and that Benty didn't show up, but good to see Barret again and catch up. And
it's just like a
hoping
hockey
for
game.
a Sugar King.
You gotta be able to adapt,
if we can.
right? You gotta be able to adapt in the middle of the game, whether people show up or not. Benty didn't show up. That's fine. Didn't show up. You got to adjust, right? You got to be ready to play. And Dutch, I don't know. When it was all about him, fully committed. Couldn't wait
He's watching.
to be here,
He's going over game tape of the Leafs game right now.
trying to figure it out, eh? Sure. it'll help. He's part of that team.
Well, I'll be in Kincardine. I'll let you know. We'll be in Kincardine this summer, I'm sure, at some point. I hope.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know if we'll be in Elmira.
no, you probably wouldn't.
Well, we're not far, so we'll see.
Would you even
We'll be
be
in
in
Stratford.
Kincardine though, with your parents not living here now?
Yeah, we're talking about like renting a cottage in Kincardine for a week in the summer, and then we go do Stratford, or I got a cousin get married in around Mitchell this summer at some point too. So trying to hit it all, but
Yeah. Well,
it's only
probably-
so many days, only so much time.
and you can only do so much. I remember those days trying to come home and hit everything and everybody and trying to say hi to everybody. It's a busy time, right?
Oh, even with especially with kids, like we'd go to Kincardine for like a weekend,
Oh.
like a Thursday to Sunday
it's just
or
full
Friday
go.
to Monday, and it's just nonstop, right? So
It's like the summer when you're a hockey player and you get home and you literally have 2 months to see everybody you haven't seen all year, and you just floor it for 2 months and then you
Right.
leave again. Yeah.
but I think if we could run a place for like a Saturday to Saturday and just kind of spread it out a little bit and
I might know a place.
just oh really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Might.
Well, here's the hard thing, right? So my wife's got a pretty high standard. So
Oh, dear. Then I'm staying
She-
out of it. I got nothing
she
to do
wants
with it.
well, she
Fuck it.
just wants
No,
to,
no, I don't want. I'm not involved. I don't know a place.
if you go on vacation, you want to stay in a nice place, right?
Yeah, I don't want to
Okay.
stay there. I'm not
So-
offering that. Sorry.
Her problem is but I know like a cottage around around Lake Huron, right? Like you're outside, you're never in the cottage, right?
No, you're
you're
not.
outside all the time. You're
Yeah.
doing all you need to go inside is to sleep. So we'll see.
No, I know.
I got a lead on a couple places.
No, that's fine. I'm staying out of it. I was voted in the family as property manager for Dana and Scott's cottage with Papa Nana. They have one on Lurgan Beach there, so I rent that out for them. And then I got some other stuff going on. And so busy times.
Well, we gotta get back there. Well, it's been a long time, right? So
I saw you on the main street of Kincardine. That would have been the last time I saw you. You were down.
I don't even
here.
think I had my son then. We had the girls.
You had girls. Yeah, you were in a
Yeah,
stroller.
and they're only 17 months apart, so they had to have been pretty young.
You're
So
right.
that would have been in the summer. So my son was born in April, so it must have been the summer before. They wouldn't have been a year old probably.
Were you not back? You were here for Old Boys. That's when
Yeah,
I saw you.
on
Old
my,
Boys.
but not with just on my own. That was right when we moved here. We were moving here like a week or two
you
later.
came to Old Boys on your own.
Yes.
No family.
Yes.
Well
I only
done.
came Friday to Sunday, and that's all I could get because we were moving. We moved here. We closed on our house, I think August 1st. That would have been the first weekend in August. And then we moved here by the 14th
Well,
or
that
15th.
Old Boys. My gosh, thank goodness that happened 2018, because what a time.
It's fun.
Oh,
I played in the you should get Ethan Skinner on. He'd be a guy you could get on here.
oh,
I played
okay.
in the
Oh,
the charity
really?
softball game with him that
Oh.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I already did.
You did? Oh, you did. Oh, I haven't listened to it yet, I don't think.
Well, you got to try and keep up. Pretty busy times in the shed.
There's a lot. I've listened to Dudgeon. I've listened to
You can do the best
Most
you
of the
can to
Elmira
try and
guys.
keep up. You can do the best you can to keep up, but
well, you do like 5 a week now, don't you?
well, I got buy-in from the wife now, so we're good.
Now
Now,
you haven't given a shout out to any sponsors tonight.
oh, you're right. www.aleshockeytales.com. Check out we got a jersey up for raffle, folks, and it's a 2 Ales and Hockey Tales jersey. But other than that, I don't have any sponsors so far that I know of.
Yeah, all right. PJ Slade pulled out or what?
His code never worked, man.
Bayfield Brewing jump too.
I pumped it for months, and I was like, someone's saying the code doesn't work. He's like, yeah, it doesn't. I'm like, how am I supposed to get paid then? And he goes, well, I'm like, okay, well, I'm done. And then yeah, there you go. So no, they're doing awesome though. They are rocking it, and just if the code doesn't work, the code doesn't work. So how would I get paid? I don't know, but he's a good dude, and always liked working with him. But
Former Ripley Wolves.
there you go. But when
All Ontario champion. He's an all Ontario champion.
well, like I know things happen like fast in the shed, right? And like I know I like bug people a lot and text people a lot, and I'm like, let's do this right now. Like this is what I like. I like doing this. I like just picking a time, making it happen. And like if I had someone else to do the other stuff, that'd be cool. But I don't. So I just want to talk to you guys. I don't want to market it. I don't want to publicize it. I don't really care if anybody listens. I just want to talk to you guys. So whatever.
This is good. It's good to catch up with you guys.
For sure.
No, seriously. And yeah, well, Barret, I'll say it again. You little dickhead. When I played with you, you taught me and Darren Fisher how to win, like what it took to win, like what all goes on in how to win a championship. And I think learning from you changed my career. And if I'm not being conceited or whatever, I think it changed a lot of my friends' lives too, because me learning from you also brought a lot of other coaches and scouts to arenas, right? Because I saw how to win and I saw you play and I was like, so that's what you got to do. And I'm like, okay, well, I got the skill, but I didn't know like you got to do that. You know what I mean?
Well, I like to hear that. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say it again.
People did that.
Shut up.
Well, I learned, everybody learns those things from somebody else, right? So
you learn everything from other people, right?
Parents, coaches, other teammates. I mean, it's mostly other teammates, right? Like, no matter what it is, like I always tell people, like when you're on a team, you've got all these teams are not that much different. These shitty teams, Bubs, that you were on, they're not that much different than like the good teams, but you've got all these guys in the middle, which are like 95% of hockey players, that they're all pretty good. And then you've got, the idiots that just rip teams apart. And you've got these real good, like leaders, winner type people that like pull people that way. And it's like, some teams have both of these guys and it's like a pull on each side. And, most people are very easily influenced. And when they see people that do things the right way, do things that like are winning habits, that type of stuff, they gravitate towards those people. When they see people, and it doesn't have to be just players, just coaches too. When they see people that do things that are like losing habits and detrimental to the team, people are easily pulled that way too, right? Like how many times have you been like, oh, hey, like, yeah, let's go out. Just come on, stay for one more beer. And all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. You got a game the next day, right? Or
well, it's not even that. It's at Western Michigan when you like guys are like, let's not work out that hard today.
Right. Where you see, okay, so you see like, and your best player, your leader He's the hardest working person in the gym. He's the first one there. He's the last one to leave. He's the hardest working person in practice every day.
It changes everything. It changes everything.
And he's having success. And then everyone's like, okay, well, that's what I want. That's what I got to do to have success. That's what I got to do to be at that level. Right. Whereas sometimes, and we've all played with guys that they're really talented and they're really good, but they just don't do those things. Right. Like, okay, well, he's really good. Well, he doesn't block a shot. He doesn't work hard. He doesn't, he takes days off. Well, I can take days off too. Like, whatever, who cares? Right. Like, in the long run, that's just not a winning culture. Right. So,
and that's how you guys won. That's how you won in Niagara. That's how you won in Elmira. Blah.
So I think I learned that probably from
Cincinnati.
A very young age.
Blah. Yeah, you win everywhere. Way to go. East Coast decade of the year. Or decade, what? East Coast
all decade
player. I've never even heard of that.
As a fan vote, I don't know how I got on that, but whatever.
Because you won everywhere. Winners are winners, and that's just the way it is.
So that being said, though, like, you can't do it by yourself. You need a whole team.
All right, fuck it. I got to do it. I'm half pissed. I got to do a player review for both of you right now. I've been doing it for everybody. Okay. You ready? I'm going to do it for both of you right now. Full tilt. You ready, Andrew? Or are you frozen?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Who do you want first? Andrew or Barret? Andrew, you ready?
Sure.
Okay. You're one of the best. Well, you are my best friend in the world. But you'll do anything for the team. Like, if the coach said, like, lay down and block the shot with your face, you'd be like, okay, how do I do that? Do I lay down this way or do I lay down that way? Like, I just want to get my face perfect right in front of the shot, because you'll do anything to help the team win. You would do anything the coach asked of you. And that is what teams need. They need a defenseman that will say, I'll do this. I'll go out there and block the shot. I'll go out there and be in junior B, you were the power play guy. You were the penalty kill guy. You did it all. But you went to pro in Niagara. You're probably the penalty kill guy, right? Probably didn't have a lot of power play time, but you did everything you could to help the team win, whatever that was asked of you. Am I right?
You are right. That's very kind to say. So yeah, me it was.
Okay, zip it. Now it's Barrett's turn. Okay. Ready? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Andrew. What were you going to say?
I was just saying that's very kind to say. I think being part of a team is knowing your role and understanding what you needed to do. And for me,
that's why you're a cop now. And that's, your role and you know what you're doing and you know who's the boss and you know what you're supposed to do. And yeah,
I've never questioned what I was asked to do. I just do it, kind of thing. So
exactly. And if the coach said, like, you should go fight that guy for Wally, you just go do it. But like, then there's Ehgoetz, which we're looking at the ceiling here. He is a born leader. He, you were in Niagara with him. I hope he doesn't listen to this. Hope he's not there. But he is the propeller on a boat. There's a concurrent analogy. He is who pushes the team. He's the one that pushed me as a young buck. He's the one that pushed everybody else on the team. He's the one that pushed the coach. He's the one that pushed the coach out the door. He got the new coach. He knows what it takes to win. He knows what a team needs. And he taught me what it took. And I lost my way a bit at Western Michigan. I lost my way a bit in Germany, but eventually most of it came down to like what I learned from Barret and Darren Fisher, and like not just them, but like watching the Sure Kings win, like Derek Hahn and all of them when I was a kid. Like, you learn what it takes to win, and like your best players have to be your best players everywhere. And if you're a punk as a top player, then your team's going to be a bunch of punks, right, Barret?
Yes.
There you go. There's your player reviews.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're
You're
okay. But yeah, Barret would have been my captain. Yeah, I said that on episode 5, and it hasn't changed, even of all the people I've met. If I was picking a team to win a championship, Barret would be my captain. And Andrew, you'd be on the decor too. You'd be like 4th or 5th D man, and you'd be chipping it off a glass all day. One-timers on the PP left flank, or your one-timer side. You wouldn't be handling it much other than that, though. Sorry, buddy.
All right with me.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be a coach.
All good.
And this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with definitely not Benty. Van Nynatten,
Disappointing.
very disappointing, and Drew Banger and Ehgoetz.